Welcome to the 4205 cast. The Kings are coming at you live, but you'll hear us on tape delay. Today I have with me
Theo.
Chris.
And Joe.
All right, and I'm Andre. And
Did we just get it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey!
We said and Joe and then and Andre. So
Well, you know,
It counts.
nobody actually expects me to say my name, so
I'm
that
usually
is the
wait.
proper-
you've said it for 100 and go on.
93. Usually we wait for Andre to go person and you know.
It's always a disaster, and we finally got it.
You know how we do things in person is different than how we have to do things.
Oh, we're still a disaster in person.
Yeah.
I guess you're
But
right.
like the best kind of disaster.
Oh
That's
yes. Oh yes. Most
It's a
certainly.
beautiful disaster, one would say.
Oh yeah. You don't get this far without being a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
That's
If I
certainly
wasn't-
not true. That's not true.
If
at
I
all.
wasn't crazy, I wouldn't be successful.
If it wasn't for my horse.
Would never have taken that semester in college.
I feel like something has happened in the video game world, but I'm not sure what it
I thought you were
was.
gonna say something happened in the world. I'm like, yeah, something did.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you preface it. There's a video game.
What happened in
Yeah.
the world, Theo?
Nah, just things happen in the world. You
In the
know.
world? Yeah, sure.
It's the world. Things are always happening in it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Uh huh.
That's right.
It's true.
Because it's spinning all the time. So
It is.
that's something that's always happening.
I like the idea that the universe is just one long controlled explosion.
Let's not do that. Let's not
Yes.
go there. Let's
I'm
not
going
do
there.
that.
I'm going there.
Let's
Because
talk
life-
about the explosion of new consoles.
Pew,
Hey.
pew, 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 pew. Yeah, that's
Instead
good.
of-
That's
instead of-
good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, cool. Let's jump into it. 1 out of 4 of us have a new console.
Which one would it be?
Well, which one would it not be? First off,
Well,
Let-
you and I think.
Yeah. I'm just gonna show you my PlayStation 5 controller right here.
They made a translucent PlayStation 5 controller already.
As you
And it has
can
a
see,
s-
it's got 2 colors.
Oh, you got the fancy one.
ooh.
Never mind.
Did,
Yeah, I don't. mind.
Chris, did you get that from the Flash's Rogues Gallery?
I did. Because it does look like Captain Boomerang. Right? Just call it all. That's the controller's name. His name's Digger.
Digger. We named it. We named the controller.
We named the controller. It's Digger. Digger Harkness.
Digger Harkness.
Yeah, new consoles came out
They
At the-
did.
on the same week, huh? I fancy how that works.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
it's
for
like
all-
they planned it.
yeah, they collaborated. Clearly, they collaborated.
Mm-hmm.
We're all buddy thanking each other on Twitter.
Yeah, they were. They were like, "Oh, congrats on the launch, man. Good job."
You
Oh,
guys,
they didn't have that. They didn't have that cadence to it. Yeah, good job. Yeah, all
You know,
right.
look, I like to think of it. Sony was doing the Cloud clap from. Like, you ever seen Cloud's win pose clap? He's like this. How many character battles have you won? Right? Yeah. Okay. Just checking. Okay, that's pretty good. Like, it's like that condescending clap.
Yeah,
how did we bring up the GameFAQs character battle?
because they have to still be doing that,
They
right?
still do
Yes,
it.
but
It's-
they don't do it the same way, so it's not as like
Not the same.
yeah.
It's never just, is it going to be Link or Cloud this year?
The previous winners are all removed from the bracket at large.
Really?
Mhm.
So they just have to scrub. So it's a scrub league.
At this point,
Until the previous winners get their own
but
tournament.
yeah, after somebody wins that tournament, then they get put into the winners bracket where the
Yes.
previous winners are all in,
And they have like
And then the winners are going to win again.
and then it's always Link or Cloud.
it's Cloud or Link, yeah, every year anyway.
Every time.
Oh
Look,
my god!
I don't understand how how Link wins those things.
Well, I don't understand how L Block won one year. So.
I helped with that. I'm not going to pretend.
L Block won for the
Okay.
memes. For the same reason Rick rolling became a thing. It's the reason L Block won.
Mm-hmm. And Undertale won greatest game of all time.
Anyway, let's talk about this PlayStation, Chris.
Okay,
The
so
floor is yours because you're
Oh.
the only one who can talk about it.
Yeah.
so the interface is so much nicer.
Good.
It's a bit more user friendly. My confusion is only because of the PS4 UI. Not that like I liked the PS4's UI, but I knew it. And this one, they've made things easier, and it's kind of cool. Like you can set up party chats now that just exist that you can just jump in and out of now.
Okay.
And one of the coolest features is when you're share playing, you can do screen and screen share play.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So, like, I could
be playing and watching, and they're streaming it to you, and you're watching them while you're playing.
Yeah,
cool.
so
That's neat.
If it's really neat, I didn't look up any of the features because I was hoping to just be pleasantly surprised with this because I got this for the game. So I don't want to have that inability to play the Sony exclusives, and I went half with Claire on this, so it didn't feel like it was that big a financial constraint because she's going to play it just as much as I am. So it ended up working out.
Yeah. And you were one of the few that got the Willy Wonka's golden ticket and actually got this system. So
I couldn't believe it, man. That was so nuts. Like I think because I was half-hearted, but like because of, again, like I've talked about this at length, but because I'm used to like having to buy stuff on the website that crashes all the time via toys. Like this was normal. I was watching everybody lose their minds, and I'm like,
I got one.
Amateur hour.
Yeah. People are still losing their mind.
Bro, there's some people throwing tantrums to this day. It's like, yo,
relax. Just wait.
You'll get one. Calm down.
I got it in my cart twice. As far as I've gotten.
I mean, look, if it's in your cart, you should already have it. Like, that's what the cart is for.
That's how I look at it. That's like you go to the supermarket, you put milk in your cart, and somebody's
That's the idea. That's the idea of the cart.
Dre, what site did you have that happen to you on?
I had it in my cart on Walmart once, and I had it in my cart on PlayStation Direct.
I had it PlayStation Direct as well. I tried for it.
Not to tout them or not like they're paying for any shit, but like Best Buy, it stayed in my cart, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, you had it pre-ordered at Best Buy. I didn't even have an option to get it at Best Buy.
Yeah, you were sleeping when it came out.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it came like the Best Buy pre-orders went up at like 8:00 the night of the announcement, and I was recording the pain list with Nick and Jason. Like while I was like recording, watching this awful anime, like clicking on the pre-order, like I'm like, let me see if I get this, And like I took a minute. I went to Claire. I was like, yo, I got in the cart. Am I doing this? And she's like,
it's crazy. You took a minute. You didn't even like just check out and then say like, all right, we'll figure this shit out later.
No. I was like, it's in the cart. Should I go for it? And she's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm like, all right, cool. It was that Leonidas meme, like 100%. Like, okay. That was my. So yeah, I was lucky I got this thing. It runs. It's a little loud starting up, but once it's going, it runs pretty quiet.
That's all that matters.
It is. Holy shit! The loading times. I'm so used to like starting the game.
You have to repeat
for a minute.
You clipped in and out for a while ago.
Oh, great! Of course. Yeah, I'm so used to like starting up the game on like a PS4 and just checking my phone for like the minute.
Yeah, let me check for
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I look up and it's like the game's already. I'm like, oh my god! Like
so I think that's probably the greatest thing of this gen so far between these two consoles is the load times and like everything. Things are just like saying like, yeah, we're doing 120 frames now. It's like, whoa, we're just pushing past 30, right? All right.
Oh,
fucking A.
So this thing is a beast. I bought Miles Morales Spider-Man for my launch shot because of fucking course I did. Surprising no one. He's here for a reason.
How much more Raleigh is it in that game than the previous Spider-Man?
What do you mean?
How much more Raleigh is in it than the previous Spider-Man?
I don't get it.
Miles Morales.
I hate you so much, Joe. Anyway,
yeah.
horrible jokes aside. I'm playing it on I'm not playing on performance mode yet. So
performance mode is where everything is turned up to ultra settings.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Oh no. The opposite.
Oh, why call it performance mode?
Well, quality is quality and performance.
Okay. Yeah,
quality is like the eye candy, and performance is the frame rates.
Okay.
I've decided on my first playthrough of this, I'm gonna go with because I want to soak in these graphics because, there's a difference. Like I turned it on and immediately you're like, oh. And this is
this guy's never seen a ray traced game.
Nope. This was new to me, baby. I was looking at I'm like staring at the reflections and the sun. Like it's almost too much. So I almost feel like I'm in a J.J. Abrams movie sometimes. But like it is stunning. And it runs so smooth and
I don't know
so well.
I don't know, because you have the physical copy of the game, correct?
I do.
Does it come with the remaster of the original game?
The one I got didn't, because they were sold out in the morning when I got there.
All right.
And I just said, "Fuck it, I'll pick up the remaster," because it ends up being out the same price. If you upgrade your PS4 version, you get the new one for $20, and it would have ended up being the same anyway. Yeah. So I just have a physical copy of the regular edition. So I was like, fuck it, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I wasn't gonna play that game right away anyway. I just was like, I'm gonna jump into Miles' game because you know, that's my boy.
Yeah.
It is a goddamn treat. It is Insomniac is somehow bringing the same amount of love to Miles that they did with Peter in terms of like the comic stuff, like little characters here and there. Like there's this girl who has you have 2 podcasts to listen to now. It's not just Jonah ranting about Spider-Man and his new goddamn sidekick. Okay, and he's like, "Oh, there's 2 of them now. Oh, unbelievable!" Like it's just great, you know.
That beginning scene with him finding the podcast was great.
He's like, "Why does Peter listen to this? Like, what is he doing?" You know, because you start off in some equivalent of the Spider-Verse costume, where like he's got the hoodie and the jacket on, and it's kind of like a makeshift Peter costume. Peter leaves and goes on vacation, and gives you a new costume. And it's not the Miles costume. It is Miles's first appearance costume from Ultimate Fallout #4.
Yeah.
Like it is, it looks like a store-bought Spider-Man costume, but it has some of the Peter tech in there.
I just gotta say, I love that the premise of this game is that Miles is on the job training, and Peter's like, "Yo, I booked tickets and I cannot cancel this thing. So you gotta figure this out, guys." Yeah. I love that premise so much.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Although, like Peter's like, "Hey, should I come back? Like, are you okay? Is like the city gonna explode?" He's like, "No, I think I got it." And it's like Miles just trying to like, this is Miles' big day. This is his first adventure on his own, and Genki's a supporting character. His mom's a supporting character. They've added a new character named Finn, who they've kind of retconned into being a friend of Miles from grade school. Mm-hmm. And we've met Aaron Davis. He's working for the MTA currently. Doesn't seem like he's the Prowler yet, or he was. You know,
spoilers. I see him working for the MTA. That makes sense.
He's a train guy.
Yeah.
So,
it's big a bad guy named
Omni. One of the coolest features about the game is there's an app that Genki has designed that essentially people can request Miles to go help them with things now, and that's your side mission stuff. I mean, there's still random crimes that happen and whatnot, but fewer and far between. And there's some collectathon things, but not nearly as much. And
so the spectacular spider Tinder,
essentially. You know, it's like put in a request. Like, okay, Spider-Man, hey, Spider-Man, come help me thing, and you get more activity that way.
I think it's better if it was like a task spider.
Spider grinder?
That's not bad. So yeah, like, and what's really cool is that Miles is finding his new powers in the game.
Yeah.
When you there's an initial boss fight, which is more or less out there, so I'm going to spoil the initial boss fight. It's you fight Rhino with Peter.
Yeah.
And it's during this fight that Miles discovers his Venom Blast. And then there's a later confrontation where Miles discovers his invisibility too. So he's like learning about himself, and it's immediately differentiating himself from Peter. He doesn't have as much tech as Peter does. And because Miles, he has more natural abilities and powers. So they're just kind of like, if they are going to put them in one game together at some point, they're going to be just 2 distinctly different characters. Like even the way Miles's animations move, like his flip tricks and all that are different from Peter's, you know, like even the way they web swing is different. Like Miles has, he almost feels like he's a little bit more unsure. Like there's just like a slight hesitation before he whips, and it doesn't disrupt your web swinging. Like web swinging still feels incredible. but it's definitely like
an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like a little like aesthetic touch to it that's just fucking phenomenal. So I'm absolutely loving it. But this was made for me, so like I'm not a good person to get a fair and balanced opinion of this from.
Well, that's fine. You can gush about it, you know.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, as we are, you know, I try to be more objective, you know, and the length of this game is clearly it's not going to be huge, but I don't give a shit. Like
honestly, that is the selling point for me.
Yeah, it's I think it'll end up benefiting the game more in the long run.
In the previous game, as much as I liked it, there's a lot of filler in that game,
and more so not from the story itself, because the story is incredible of the last game.
Well, there is some story filler with the other character.
Yeah, so. But for the most part, not. You know, like, and this is a much more streamlined experience, and I think
I just want give me a lean Spider-Man game, and I'm like, yes, I'm right there.
Yeah, and this definitely seems to be scratching that itch, and they're doing a lot of building, and it's a lot of I'm actually really happy that Peter's not around. No, Miles is on his own. He's going to do his own thing, and we're going to let him build his own world around this now, you know, and it feels very successful in that regard so far. I'm really happy with it.
Cool.
And I will put on that Spider-Verse outfit too,
with the 24 frames per second.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Have you seen the videos where they overlaid the Spider-Verse music with that, with like you just web slinging?
Oh my god,
it's really good,
dude. And the soundtrack to this game, by the way.
Yeah.
Trey, you were gonna touch on that?
The Spider-Verse costume, the 24 frames per second feature on it is actually a costume mod.
Yeah, it's a mod, so you can put it on
anything.
Yeah.
So random. That also means you can take it off if it really weirds you out. Which is great, because as awesome as I think it is, I think it really weirds me out, and I don't know how much I would actually enjoy playing with it.
Yeah. I do the side missions with it on a lot.
It's probably not that big of a deal in the fidelity mode, but in the high performance mode, it's probably going to be really nauseating.
Oh, 24 to 60, that's going to look so weird. Oh my god, that's going to look real fucking weird.
You gotta let me. So one of my biggest concerns with this game is with the PlayStation loading so quickly. Mm-hmm. What do they do with the loading screens? Do not tell me there's no loading screens. Do not tell me he's not on the subway.
Sorry, Theo.
The curse of a fast system.
What are they gonna do?
Play a little cutscene.
There should be an option where it's like, just give me the old load-in.
I thought there was an option for that.
Is there? An old one. Yeah. Oh, to leave them on? I haven't seen it. I've only fast traveled once, and it took me right to the cutscene of what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
The subways are in there. I haven't gotten on it. Maybe there is. I'll try it out.
Please. I have to know that.
I barely did fast travel in the last game. I love web swinging so much.
I know, but him just sitting on the subway with a dude just like looking over his phone, like, are you 42nd Street Spider-Man or the real Spider-Man?
Bro, it's so good. It's a little touches like that. And there's lots of that in this game. Miles even it's one of those extra little character things. You know how like you'd press square and you'd sometimes like wave at people when you're on the ground around civilians. If like sometimes Miles would just start doing a salsa dance.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
right.
That's what I like to see.
Spicy.
You know? Mm-hmm.
It's got that flavor.
I love it. It's got that Puerto Rican flavor. I love every bit of it. But yeah, man, it's really good. It's really solid. The game is really fun. I'm extremely happy. I don't know what will be my next purchase for the system after this. I'm probably looking.
Are you really not gonna get Demon Souls?
I'm probably gonna get it. It's just one of those things that like I can't be as crazy with my money right now. So
I hear you. I watched maybe like 10 hours of playthrough of that game so far, and it brought me in a weird place because I played that game like 7 times, like front to back, and it looks incredible, and I have no desire to play it.
That's because you played it 7 times.
But this is ostensibly it's a new game.
It's practically a new game. Like I'm staring at it. It's between that and the DMC5 special edition.
I'm really surprised that it wouldn't be
was the second. Honestly, you want to know the truth? It's the next thing.
What? Not Bug Snacks?
And it's $40.
You sure you don't want Bug Snacks?
Wait,
Bug Snacks is free.
It's free.
Oh, word?
Yeah,
Bug Snacks is free.
Yeah. I heard the story and that goes crazy.
Get you some Bug Snacks.
I haven't touched that. It's Bug Snacks. I might download it for shits and giggles. Something that is getting no publicity. Your Plus account gets all of the best PlayStation games from the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Maybe the only one it doesn't have is Ghost of Tsushima. Everything else is there for free.
Yeah, that's so new too.
God of War is free. Infamous is free.
Well, free.
Uncharted 4 is free.
Included is probably a better term.
Okay, it's free with Plus, whatever.
Okay.
When you buy the system, do they give you 6 months of Plus, or you have to have a prior Plus account?
We already had our.
But there's nothing in the box that says here's a. Oh, okay, all right.
Not that I saw. No. Yeah, and I feel like no one's talking about that, which is weird because I don't remember any announcements oh, by the way, you're gonna get all these greatest hits for the PS4 for free.
On top of that, I feel like it's not as. I feel like people aren't making a big deal of this having maybe 98%,
backwards compatibility
with a pack-in game. 99 with a pack-in game. That's kind of incredible.
As far as a dollar value goes, if you're paying for Plus for a year, and let's say you didn't get a PS4, you can now play these games.
Yeah.
For whatever Plus costs for a year.
Yeah.
Which is even if you bought these games at $20 each, which I think most of them are now, or some of them are, maybe most of them, but
you got to work for $10.
Dude, that's still a really substantially great value.
And you get the performance enhancements with playing on the
playing on the PS5. It's awesome. I didn't know about that, so that was a really pleasant surprise for me. I thought that was really cool.
Time to play Persona 5.
It's in there. That's another one. It's on there.
Royale or
OG?
Royale. It's probably not Royale.
Royale was on the Switch one, right?
No, that's Scramble you're thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not coming here.
Yeah, as of right now.
What the fuck is wrong with that company?
Atlas, they don't like money. That's just
they do not like money.
That's what it is. They're allergic to it.
Yeah, they really are, man. Holy shit.
I'm used to it now. It's fine.
So anyways, another thing I want to talk about is this beautiful, beautiful controller here.
Digger.
Yeah, good old Digger here. So I don't give a flying shit about Rumble.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Before you start, do you happen to have an Xbox One controller?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not have one lying around. I have a PS4 controller that I use for my PC and my iPad.
All right, just wondering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steam was just updated so you can use that controller on your PC now, by the way, the one you're holding.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, I'm probably not going to because I have 900 PS4 controllers. So no, I have 4 of them. That's stupid. Yeah. The haptic feedback on this thing is incredible.
Everybody's making a big deal about this. I have to know what this thing is, how it feels.
Okay, so imagine what Nintendo was trying to sell us. But it's actually good.
The HD Rumble?
Yes.
HD Rumble was good. They just don't use it.
Yeah, but they use it in here, man. There's there is directed rumble when you are attacking on one side. If something is happening on one, there is rumble on just this particular side of the controller. There's if something travels, so you will feel it move the control. It is weird. And
remember, this is Sony with the 6-axis. It'll be there. It'll be there initially, but
dude, I thought playing Infamous and spray painting with the controller was one of the coolest things.
Yeah. That was it.
So cool. That was the only time we ever got shit like that. But
the biggest problem is that there's no unification between systems on these features.
Yeah.
So
you probably won't see anything in won't see anything in third-party games, but it'll be a smaller percentage that you would see.
Right. It'll be the cheap version of the features, just like the Xbox One had these the trigger feedback, but it really wasn't used because PlayStation 4 didn't have it.
Yep.
and that's just extra coding they have to put in for one version of the game. Now they potentially have to make 3 different versions of each game, like 2 versions for the Xbox and 1 for the PlayStation. And then they have to have specific qualities to match the PlayStation Rumble as opposed to the Xbox Rumble. And as awesome as it is, I only really see it being taken advantage of in
first party stuff,
which is the same thing with the
Nintendo,
Nintendo HD Rumble.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't have any just messing around with it. I thought it was neat. Like because I like, it's just one of those things, I don't fucking care about that shit. And honestly, it's just like a little bonus thing. I
yeah. As long as the controller's good, that's all that matters.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess if there's one thing that I saw, because I didn't know this about the Xbox being able to boot up multiple games at once and just being able to flip through them on the fly. Yeah, PlayStation.
The quick swap or something.
Yeah.
Jesus.
PlayStation does not have that. I don't personally care because I'm that person that closes all their apps like a psycho. So like for me, it's not a big deal having multiple games running at the same time. Yeah, quick resume.
Yeah.
PS5 does not have that feature, so that is something that is, I think, specifically pretty cool.
They can add that in a firmware update. That's not a huge deal. I legitimately think that's cool as somebody that plays numerous games at one time. I think that's and it's like literally they checkpoint you at that spot and you just jump right into the next game.
Yeah, which is kind of nuts. It's like, oh, I'm waiting for this instance to load or this thing to crop up, and you can just come back to it. Like that's really cool. But like. Yeah. Other than that, I can't imagine that I would have much use for it, really. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's not a big like.
Yeah, you don't normally play 2 games or 3 games at once, so it's not a big thing for you.
Like, I don't know about you. I only play 1 game at a time, and then when I'm done with that one, I switch to a different one. And if I want to go back to the other one, I switch back to the other one. I don't know how you all playing 3 games at the same time. That's crazy.
It is very much an odd thing that's kind of neat, but doesn't. I don't really feel.
Yeah, it's not your play style.
Yeah, and it doesn't really serve my purposes at least. So yeah. So thumbs up so far. I haven't transferred over any of my save data. I heard they're having some trouble with that.
It doesn't take away the data from your old system, does it?
No, it just copies over.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And you can do it. Say again.
Are you keeping the 4?
Oh yeah. I got a Batman. It's the Batman system. I'm never getting rid of that.
Oh, I sold that for a pretty penny when I got the chance to.
No, I'm holding on to that forever, man. Come on, this is a fucking comic.
Also, you can remote play your PS5 system onto the PS4, so your PS4 can kind of be a PS5 if you want.
No, it's true. Like that's a little weird and kind of crazy, but like
it's super cool.
Yeah, let's put it this way: I'm never getting rid of consoles again unless I like get a newer, quote unquote, newer version of one.
Yeah.
But, I'm done getting rid of my consoles. I'm not getting rid of them anymore.
I think the last console that you could freely get rid of, well, outside of the Xbox architecture, since it's fully backwards compatible, but the last console you could fully just get rid of because it was obsolete and not needed anymore is probably the PS1.
That's one, yeah, because the full 100% backwards compatibility of PS1.
And there's no save files stuck on the system itself.
Yeah, and the PS2 reads your PS1 memory cards, so yeah.
Once Xenoblade Chronicles X come out, the Wii U will be added to that list.
Yeah.
Mario Galaxy 2. Mario Galaxy 2. That's the actual real last stand. We keep thinking of like
but it's a Wii game, so that's fine.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a Wii game.
Yeah, but you still need to play it on something.
You got a Wii.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X, boy. Woo! Waiting for that announcement.
Any day now. Because somebody likes money.
What are you gonna do with your Wii U once that gets announced, man? What are you gonna do with it? How are you gonna dispose of it properly?
How properly? Probably not properly.
No? Okay.
No, probably just gonna throw it in
a box or a dumpster.
I'll take a picture of it when it's in a dumpster.
I got. How about skeet shooting?
Why don't you bury it in Joe's backyard next to MVC2?
It's not there.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's Cannon Spike back there. Because we found MVC2.
Yeah, we did. It was like a horror movie.
The story is so great when you say you open up some random game and MVC2 in it. It's like, what did we bury?
I can't find Cannon Spike, so maybe that was it.
I'm pretty confident it's Cannon Spike.
Then you have like the the police going to the mafia burial ground scene. You guys are just like, all right, we gotta find it.
Gotta find it.
We'll see what it is.
I don't know.
All right.
Speaking of Marvel too, your boyfriend was pimping that shit out, Dre.
I have many boyfriends.
Michael B. Jordan was talking about like wanting Marvel's Capcom on new consoles.
Yeah, I saw the
video.
The video, and I was just like,
does this dude even know about real Marvel too?
Like, I'm sure. Yeah. He's about it.
Of course he does.
All right.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah. All right.
I remember talking about Naruto one time, and I was like, okay, you're talking about Naruto.
I mean, I don't know if we can get Daigo to throw a game for him like some other celebrities.
Like he did to Lupe.
he definitely did do that.
Daigo took a dive, no question.
Yeah, I remember I was reading an article just the other day because I'm writing a paper about that actually. But
yeah.
Oh, really?
It's a long thing. Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I think I want to hear about that, Theo.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Send me that paper. I'll grade
it. I'm starting to be a teacher. I can grade it before.
I went through enough years of education program in college to.
I graded a B+, which is what Daigo got in that Third Strike match.
Damn.
For Evo moment.
Christ.
All right, Chris. Thank you very much for that. Congratulations on being one of the lucky ones.
Our resident PS5 correspondent.
Dude, you know what's even more insane? I have a circle of people who all got one.
Weird.
Weird. Like a bunch of my friends got one. Tim got one. Randall got one.
Fuck Randall.
There it is. Like literally,
and you have a reason to say it now.
Yeah.
He had a reason before.
I know, but like now it's like, yeah.
I swear to God, like it is. I literally can do a full party of any multiplayer game. Like we could run a strike team in Destiny. Like it's stupid.
That's crazy.
What is this?
That's crazy.
How did this happen? Yeah. So
they updated the PS4 to now show you when people are logged in on the PS5, and now I just get to see everybody.
They're annoying.
I'm just like, wow,
Sony's annoying. Yeah.
I hate you right now.
That FOMO is gonna be real.
The only thing you play is Tales games. They haven't even released one yet. Why do you have a PS5?
When do you guys get crazy over launch consoles, man? Like, have you ever been this crazy over launch consoles like this?
It's not the console itself. It's the event around it. I think is actually really cool.
And this,
it's the start of a new life.
Here's the thing about this console generation here is that since this stuff is pretty much, like I've been saying, it's all software. Like your PlayStation 4 libraries are going forward here.
Yeah,
it's not like you're leaving something behind this time.
No,
it's just.
And they made that
this is just a straight hardware upgrade.
Yeah,
for the most part.
But the architecture of the PS4, they wanted that for the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
right. So now people are more incentivized to get one right away because they don't have to worry about what's available for it. They can still play their old games on better hardware.
Yeah. And I don't even think this was that bad of a launch title wise. I think it's one of the better ones in the last couple of years, to be honest.
It is. I was actually talking to my friend about it because he actually got a PS5 also, and it is an incredible launch with an asterisk for me personally. Because all the games, Demon Souls, I played to death. Devil May Cry 5 looks really cool, but I don't really want to play that again on the new system. Miles Morales, I could play it on the PS4, so it's not really. There's no.
I get it.
Personally.
Yeah.
So it's a strong lineup, but with the asterisk.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But but still, yeah. So that's,
if I hadn't played, go on, Dre.
You could have gotten Breath of the Wild on the Wii U.
You're right, but the Switch is such a paradigm shift from like a sit down console. I was playing this shit at work, man.
It's not right. Obviously, the PlayStation 5 is still like a PlayStation.
So I mean, God, we're at the 5th PlayStation. Ain't that crazy?
It's a little crazy.
I remember the PlayStation 1 launching.
Me
too. The X'd or F'd Xbox. Wow. That's something.
Oh, according to Xbox and Microsoft, they did well.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. Obviously, they launched first, so they had a slight foot in the door first, and Xbox fans are Xbox fans. They are going to get their Xbox, and if you're in that architecture, I guess you can say. There's no reason not to get it because all your stuff is there.
Same reason, yeah.
Even more so than PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, FF15.
I think if you're not
another one too, by the way,
that you played.
No, that came free. Royal Edition. That was another one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh shit. Okay.
I've been meaning to replay the Royal Edition.
I haven't played it yet, so that might be
shit. You have not played Final Fantasy 15.
It might be a thing that happens. So
I might have to play through that again with wait mode enabled. See how much different the combat is.
Yeah, it's different. It's good.
It is.
What's happening?
I think we're all looking at Andre.
I have no desire to talk about that anymore.
Okay.
FF15.
I already said what I'm gonna say, and there's no reason to revisit it.
How about wait?
So, like I said, congratulations on getting it, Chris. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Hope to see you with it soon. Maybe one will stay in my cart.
I'm sure it will,
and I can get it.
If
do
I
you
see
want one already? Do you want one right now?
So, like Joe asked before, and he's like, "Since when are we launch console people?" I've kind of always been a launch console person. Mm-hmm. The thing is that I usually don't get PlayStations on launch, but almost any Nintendo system I get on launch.
I mean, yeah,
right.
It's usually worth something. It's usually something worth playing on.
In fact, I can't think of the last Nintendo system I didn't get on launch.
You didn't get the Wii U on launch?
The Wii I didn't get on launch, but I got the Wii U on launch.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because the Wii launched at... Did the Wii launch at 400?
No.
Did the Wii...
It was very 300.
Yeah, no, it was extremely close to the PlayStation 4, and I remember being like, "That's crazy."
The Wii or the Wii U? The Wii came out at 300. The Wii U came out at 350.
Yeah. Okay, 350. Okay.
Yeah, the Wii U came out at 350.
And that was too much for the Wii U.
I agree.
That was what did it launch with? Zombie U was really cool. Zombie U was really cool, man.
What was the pack-in game? The name of
Nintendo Land is awesome.
Nintendo Land.
We play Nintendo Land. That shit is awesome.
I like Nintendo Land a lot. So,
but yeah, I didn't get one until Wind Waker HD came out, and even then I was like, this is kind of a lot for fucking Wii U, man.
But you did it.
Yeah, whatever. Wonderful 101 came out that year also, so I was like, all right, I got a platinum game in Zelda, so.
And Bayonetta 2.
It wasn't announced at that point,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
my position on the PS5 right now is I want it and I'll get it if I can get it, but I'm not going to cry if I can't get it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I'm clicking, I'm checking.
Yeah.
And if it ends up in my possession, cool. And if it doesn't, that's okay.
You'll get one eventually.
Right. Because it's like, especially with the Sony Direct site, because you have to be logged in with your PlayStation Network account to order it. So I know that at some point that will be easy to get.
Yes.
Were you in the queue?
No, there wasn't a queue when I was.
Okay, I did the one where
the original one
in the queue. Yeah. Well, no, like 3-4 days ago. Or when the system came out, I don't remember. I was like, let me see if I can get it. Because actually, because we have two PlayStation 4 Pros, we have a regular black one and the God of War Special Edition one. I was talking to Kellen. I was like, if we could sell the God of War one, I could get like $350 for it. And that would offset the cost of the 5. So I was thinking about maybe doing that.
That ain't crazy.
Yeah, I don't need 2 PS4 Pros.
I mean, you can. There's a guy down here who might be willing to take a system off of your hands.
Nah, he don't want no PlayStation 4.
What am I gonna do with it?
I don't know. Play some of the many games that you couldn't play.
The ones that to get a 5.
The ones that
no one off to get a 5 at this point.
Like the ones,
the 5 will also cost $500. Where
but at least it has
PlayStation 4 will not.
No, I don't need it. I'm good.
Okay, man.
It's fine. All right. I ain't going crazy for Spider-Man like that. I like to play it, but
yeah,
I know
I'm a special kind of crazy for that.
Yeah,
so
I know you are. Yeah.
I know Final Fantasy is not. I when a Final Fantasy comes out, I get the system that is out on, even though I don't want the system.
That's fair. That's fair.
There will be no waiting. If I
did the same thing in 1997.
There'll be no waiting. That is the hard deadline for getting
soon. Yeah, I know myself, and I'm like,
well, when I get more information about Final Fantasy 16 and that release date gets closer and closer, then maybe you can see if I'll break then. But
I know I'm gonna break. It happens every single time. Every single time, like clockwork.
With the PS2.
Well, they haven't got me yet with anything. And there's been some things that were close, but nothing yet.
Final Fantasy might a Yoshi P Final Fantasy with soaking music.
Yes, it might. That actually might. It might.
That might get you.
I would hate it. I would hate myself because I'd be like, well, that's $500 I'll never get back just for this one game.
You have the PS4 library. Other games on it that you might like.
It's going to collect dust, and you know it. And I know it.
Sure. It's only going to collect dust if you ignore it and don't buy games for it.
Right. I'm not going to buy games for it. That's the problem. Why are you guys trying to talk me into this?
Oh, I'm just saying. I know me.
I'm pointing out the flaw in your logic about
my logic.
Yes, the consistency of not having good or fun games to ever play, and then bitching about the Sony exclusivity.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I? Why is that illogical? That seems perfectly logical
that's
to me.
Solved by having a PlayStation system.
No, it's solved by giving in to the PlayStation system.
Okay.
All right, man.
I just know my weakness. Final Fantasy is my weakness.
I mean, look, sure, you can criticize me for it, but you can't call it illogical.
Okay, well, I find it to be strange. How about that?
If it's logical, then it is strange. Can we just drop it?
Nope.
Oh, God.
Well,
all right.
I know my weakness, and my weakness is not having to wait to play the games I like.
Yes. Same.
I get the games I want to play on day one. I don't wait for sales. I don't want to wait a year to play it.
I'm not gonna lie. If the Miles Morales game was not a launch title,
wait, I didn't hear that. What you said?
If Miles Morales was not a launch title,
wow, Sony doesn't want you to.
Yeah, Sony's like, put that out of the universe. We're not going to entertain that.
Censor.
Like,
well, you already bought it before you knew Miles was a launch game.
No, I knew.
Like, okay, all right.
Like, that was the first game they showed on the launch thing. It was like they knew.
Not only that, it'd be out by the holiday at the very
it's latest. Like if I had gotten, when I say launch, I mean like
window. Okay, yeah,
like within like that first month. It's like day one. Oh wow, that was cool, but like. I knew if it was out that month, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking want this real bad.
I can't wait to see what the because like I think Demon's Souls is a killer app, but not particularly for me. But I can't wait to see what that killer app is when it finally comes down. And be like, oh shit,
yeah.
We all had that feeling. Like, oh shit. All right, maybe I should buy the system.
You'll know when you're looking at it. You'll be like, oh
yeah, this is different.
I don't know if you can tell by looking at it anymore.
It's hard to tell sometimes. I agree with Joe on that.
I agree.
Because Godfall looked amazing, and that's getting
middling reviews.
Very mixed.
Did Godfall look amazing?
It really looked nice.
I think it looked potentially good. There was nothing about the art design looked cool.
Yeah,
generically cool. Not
like at some level we knew. At some level we knew. On some level we knew what this was.
Yes, yeah,
and that's the thing. Like we can take a look at these things and know what they are.
It looks like Destiny 1 to me, where it's like, this is potentially really cool. There's nothing jumping out at me about this yet, but everything I'm hearing about it, as far as the gameplay goes, sounds good. I think once it has some time to be more fleshed out, I think it'll be really good.
I'm wondering,
it's not quite there yet.
I'm wondering if that's why we're seeing more strange and esoteric game trailers, like the ones for Death Stranding and that Capcom thing. That's
whatever the fuck that Capcom game was.
Capcom Stranding.
Yeah, because they're trying to. They might be trying to intentionally divert attention from what it actually is. They want interest. They want interest via confusion, and bewilderment.
I don't think it's that. I think it's really. I think as games become more realistic, there's a harder, more difficult place to convey interesting art.
Well, I don't know if it's about the art. I'd say it's more like you said. You take a look at a game like I know what this is.
Yeah.
Also, we have the benefit of growing up with this shit.
Yeah.
And the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we see the industry grow to what it is now.
We have that ability to be like,
or rot.
Oh, no, I know what this is.
Depending on your preference.
No, it's one of those things though. It's because we know it's like, okay, this looks like a looter action game.
Yeah.
This looks like
third-person action adventure sad dad game.
Yeah, sure, exactly. And like that's fine.
Oh, look, it's don't shit your pants too.
I think I think a big part of that is from our end. I mean, not to call us jaded, but we've been around so long. It's really hard for us to be impressed by new stuff.
Well, there's definitely some jadedness in this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but like I'm not trying to call.
I am the Jim Cornette of video games.
We have Mega Jade, Super Jade, Sorta Jade, and you're doing pretty good.
I guess.
You're doing pretty good, but not quite.
Which Jade am I?
Super Jade.
Super Jade.
Okay.
I
like a lot of things.
You're not too far from Joe level jadedness at this point.
I'm not
so. Okay.
Oh, I definitely think so. I think you're really close to Joe level jadedness.
I am the Jim Cornette of video games.
Oh, Joe's old man yelling at cloud.
I like a lot of things.
He's entertaining about it, like Jim Cornette, so it's okay.
So like this is the issue is we have to look at these games and they have to show us something interesting in order for it to be interesting. And the problem is, as the old saying goes, there's nothing new under the sun.
What have you done for me lately?
So like there's so many things that we've seen, and how often is it that a game just comes out and surprises you with the things that it can do? And it's like it's very rare at this point, and almost entirely confined to not AAA games.
That's it. I mean, yeah.
I'm right there with that thought process. Theo and I, we've had so many just like indie games always end up capturing my imagination more.
Titles. 100%.
That's because they don't have to try to be realistic.
Yeah, but like that's also beneficial to them.
Yeah.
And like it's just even something like
not even try to be realistic. They don't have to try to cater to everybody.
Well, here's the thing: if you put a game in 3D, it feels weird if it doesn't have like real life 3D world physics.
Oh, but unless it's trying
I don't know about that. You mean 3D as a concept or like actual like realistic?
No, I mean it's like
it doesn't have to be
because Mario went to 3D and he jumps on moons and shit.
Right, but he still has motion, walking, running, gravity, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is it you say about lore, Joe?
What's that?
What is it you say about lore?
He's Data's brother.
I knew he was going to say that. I was thinking the same.
Do you honestly not know what I'm asking?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Okay. You usually say something about you don't care how crazy the lore is as long as it's consistent with itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. I wasn't picking up the breadcrumbs on that, but yeah, I have been known to say that.
It's the same thing with the physics. If the physics in the game is dumb and crazy, but if it's consistent, that's fine.
Right,
like Just Cause, right?
Yes.
There's no physics in Just Cause that makes sense.
Right. But I'm talking about
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about games running in 2D versus in 3D, where you have like 3D models doing something. I feel like in a 2D game you can kind of maybe because you have to project that extra dimension mentally. Like that makes sense. Yeah.
There's no way to.
Yeah.
Things have to make more sense in 3D than they have to make in 2D.
Your brain's doing more filling in a 2D game.
The same principle that makes a book better than a movie.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
Because your mind is filling in so many of the blanks that aren't because it's like and thus it feels more engrossing in some way. Right.
Except for The Princess Bride, which could be the only movie that's better than the book.
Jurassic Park?
I don't know. Jurassic Park's a really good book.
Really good book.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, too. Changed everything.
Okay. I can at least say they're equal.
There's a few notable examples, but I think you might have nailed it with The Princess Bride. So we'll let that keep the number one spot.
I have one for comic book movies actually. I know it's not Spider-Verse. The Crow.
Really?
The Crow is better than the comic by a lot. The movie is incredible. It's a work of art, and I think
people said the same thing about The Boys too. I've never read The Boys comic, so
from what I have seen so far, yes, I agree because I think the Boys comic good, but for the first time ever, Garth Ennis feels like he's trying too hard. It's like wow, you're trying too hard. Oh wow, Garth Ennis.
I read God, what's the one that started with a T?
Which one?
The one that started with a T.
The Hulk?
Transmetropolitan. Transmetropolitan is Warren Ellis. I understand why you got them.
Oh, okay.
Because most people think Garth Ennis and Warren Ellis are the same person.
Okay.
Because they kind of are. They're not. And I think Transmetropolitan is one of the greatest comics ever written. I think it is incredibly relevant. If you read it now, little mini Chris Comics Corner, read Transmetropolitan. It's fucking incredible. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't even know where we were anymore.
Yeah, it's long gone. We've gone into ultra tangents. So
yeah, that's what new consoles do.
Yeah, I'll do that.
We might circle back to some sales information about the Xbox later. We slightly mentioned that they did well, but we'll come back to it a little bit later and actually explain how well that was. Theo, you got any games for us?
I do. I'm just gonna keep it short since this is a packed episode with new consoles. I am playing maybe the second biggest release this week. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Oh, that's the game.
Definitely.
No, we've talked about this game before, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If you guys don't remember, it is a 2D action hack and slash game / farming simulator.
Yep.
And it's AAA don't do it for me no more, man.
This is why I called you jaded.
I'm laughing because I get it.
Hey, so the premise of the story is that you are a rice goddess, for the harvest of rice and
How would you feel? How would it feel to be the god of rice?
Right, not like the god of harvest or the god of grains.
Well, just rice.
There's one specific grain.
I mean, there's a lot of gods in this world,
There has to be.
There's also a lot of rice in this world. So
I was going to say,
so much rice, but I'll get to that in a bit.
The god of beer would be so much more fun though.
I mean, wheat can, the god of wheat can go into the god of beer.
Was jalapeno poppers taken though?
It must have been
in that era. Yes, it was.
Poppers would be a pretty good one.
Yeah,
it'd be all right.
Jalapeno poppers.
Oh yeah.
God.
So anyway, this god, she is let's just say she's bad at her job.
How do you be bad at being god of rice? I mean, it's the easiest
one thing.
And it's rice. One job.
So she meets these five people that's running away from slavery or captivity or whatever. This old guy, these two kids, this foreigner, and this little baby. So this guy's trying to kill them, and she's like, she's drunk, and then she just messes up this guy, and then for some reason she causes a fire of a rice factory, and the head rice chick, the head goddess, is like, all right, man, you are the worst. It's kind of like the Emperor's New Groove, where you're oh, you're the worst. All right, live with these people and try to be a better person.
Oh, so it's wait. So it's Thor with rice.
Shit, yeah, it is Thor with rice.
It's all been done before, folks.
So yeah, right.
Nothing new under the sun.
Exactly. So she casts you off with the 5 humans to this Isle of Demons, where you are tasked with protecting the humans because
with
they
what? With rice?
Well,
better hope there's a wedding nearby. So you don't have to throw.
Like I said, she's bad at her job, right? And she does not actually know how to grow rice. So the people that she lives with, yeah, she's terrible.
She's a guy. She shouldn't be doing manual labor anyway. It's fine.
Well, because of that, she has to ask the humans how to create rice and stuff like that. They're like,
okay, give her shit for this,
huh?
I hope they give her shit for this.
The kids do. The old dude, he's kind of cool. He's like, all right. I mean, my hand is inept to this land, so you're gonna have to do this stuff, but I'll teach you my knowledge.
I feel like this game would really, really give me a hard time with my imposter syndrome.
Why?
Because being the god of rice and being terrible at being the god of rice, makes me anxious.
Yeah. So because she's a god, she's strong, and she has to go across the isle to fight these demons. That's the 2D section, and you go across the island and you get like resources and stuff like that for your fields and whatnot. Okay, so when I watched the trailers for this video, I was like, when they usually do mashups of games, they are very they don't go hard in either direction. They are kind of like, all right, we're going to be a little action, we're going to be a little like farming. This game goes so hard in the farming direction. It is fucking insane. Like, I've played Harvest Moon, I've played Stardew, I've played, Animal Crossing doesn't really have farming like that, but I played games with farming in it. This is the most robust farming other than like maybe Farming Simulator. Like, you're tilling the land, you have to get fertilizer, you have to get your rotten food, you have to make sure your food doesn't rot too fast. It's absolutely insane. There's like a water level for your rice fields. I'm like, what is going on? So the game goes on in years, right? Every year takes maybe 2 hours of gameplay. The first year they don't tell you anything because you're terrible, right? Mm. And they're like, yeah, when you make your rice, they're like, yeah, this is just terrible, absolutely ridiculous. Like, you almost starve how bad it is. So every year you learn something new. You learn like different tilling techniques. You know how to hold the rice. You know how to I know so much rice facts now because of this game. It's fucking insane how deep they go into this thing.
Are you saying you're qualified to be the god of rice?
Huh?
Sorry, Chris. I think I stole that one from you.
No, go on. Yeah. Let me hear.
Go ahead, Joe. He didn't hear you because we talked.
Oh, are you saying you're qualified to be the god of rice now?
I mean, I'm getting there because like I'm on year 3 right now, and the rice actually came out really good. Everybody's like, "Yo,
hey, all right,
this rice is fucking." And it's not a narrative thing where you're like, okay, because narratively you're better. No, I learned techniques of how to space out the rice, seeds, and how to till it properly, and what fertilizers to use. And there's so much
is this some
shit in this game.
This is starting to sound like some propaganda piece.
It's insane. Like I've been cooking like nonstop for the past few days.
Bro, rice feeds a lot of people for
cheap. Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm really enjoying that aspect. But what's also crazy is it goes hard in the combat section also. Now, I think I'm pretty proficient in, action games and stuff like that. I can usually play them on levels well above normal, right?
Yeah, you can play them hard.
I'm playing a hard, Dante Must Die and stuff like that. I can hang with that type of crowd. I'm finding myself playing this game and the combat is actually really taxing. And I'm like, whoa. I was like getting my ass whooped the first few stages because there's a technique in there's a mechanic actually in the game where you have a scarf, like they call the raiment, where it is basically the bionic commando arm where you grapple yourself to the enemies or you could pull them to you. Ooh. But there are different things you could do for each set. Like if you do up while you do the scarf, you can make an enemy weaker. You can either You could pull them in. You could dash to them. You could throw them into other enemies to create like a combo system, because the combat really relies on you crashing enemies into one another, so you can get high damage.
I do love combinations with rice.
It is.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
I'm actually going to get to that in a bit. So I'm playing this game, and when I first saw the trailers, I'm thinking it looked a lot like Muramasa. And I don't know about you guys, but I liked Muramasa initially, but kind of wore out his welcome afterwards, because the combat is too long, and the combat doesn't really it's too simple, right? Like, other than the sword break-in mechanic, it's nothing really to it. You just like hack and slashing. I was thinking this game is going to be a lot like that, where I was like, you know what? As long as the combat is decent and like, you know, the farming simulation is fine, right, I'm okay with that.
Well, here's the thing. No. You have both. You can fall back on one or the other at any time, right?
So here's the thing that I think is very interesting with this game. And you guys are going to laugh when I say this.
Yes, I am.
I don't know who this game is for. And I don't mean that in like a facetious kind of pedantic way.
No, you mean that because that's your catchphrase, and that's
well no, but this game goes so hard in both directions that the person that I like to look for different weird experiences, so I can see this being for me. But the person that wants to like actually learn about how to farm and like takes the time and might waste a few hours making a bad batch of rice. And to your point earlier, Joe, like rice, the catchphrase with this game is rice is power. So the game, it doesn't have like a level system. It's kind of like a Metroidvania in that sense, where the better your crop is, the stronger you are, because you are the god of rice.
The rice must flow.
Huh?
The rice must flow.
The rice must flow. And because I got such a good harvest in my third year, I'm like just one shot in things now. But there's a chance where you can just fail all the time, like actually making, you know, good batches of rice, where you're just going to be weak. And it's like, the combat isn't something where you're just like, oh, I could just hack and slash. It's like, no, I got to actually pay attention to this thing and pay attention to the farming.
Yeah, you don't want to have to fall back on the god of wheat like that. That guy's
fuck that guy.
That guy's a
fuck
douche.
That guy.
Yeah,
fuck that guy.
Screw bread.
Huh?
Screw bread.
Yeah. Nah, bread is good.
Bread makes you fat.
Bread makes you fat.
I mean, I have no issue with that.
This guy come in and be like, I invented the best thing ever.
But yeah, but like, to my point, I'm playing this game and I'm like, who the fuck did they make this game for?
Well,
so the person that
they made it for
the guy who likes action combat and rice farming.
Yeah, but like, how much people are there like that, where they're like, yo, I really want to get into this combat. So there's a parry system in this game that is hidden, 100% hidden, and it is so hard to actually do it. And like, I fought a boss and I actually did the parry. I was like, okay, I'm learning this combat system. I'm learning the tells and stuff like that. And like, what I love with the raiment system, where it like you grapple to the enemy, I have to think about combat totally different, because it's essentially you evade or you dodge. And usually you dodge away from an enemy, but this you're like, oh, I got to go towards them. And it's just so much things you have to realize and have to kind of formulate that. I'm like, man, this game is, for the first maybe 3 hours, I was like, I don't know about this thing, man. But I'm starting to get my bearings with actually learning both facets of, you know, the farming and the fighting.
Sure.
Yeah, it's day.
I heard they're making a new Rune Factory game. Maybe you should get
that. So I've played Rune Factory before, and that's what I mean, where they don't go hard in either direction. It's like, kind of, if I want farming, I'd rather just go to a farming game. If I want action, I'd rather just go to like an action RPG.
Moonlighter was like that for me.
Yeah. Huh?
Moonlighter was like they half-assed both.
Yeah, and a lot of games are like that when you combine genres, but this is like, the way they make this game, you could literally split it down to half and sell each side, and you still would be satisfied.
That's kind of what you need to do. You know, like I think the fact that the combination of them there is what makes it a unique game.
It's super interesting.
Yeah. Because otherwise, it's like, what? It's just another action game or another.
Yeah, I'd rather. It's like, and that's what I was worried about when I saw the
both,
combat.
And they're you said they're interconnected, right?
Oh, one like.
Yeah.
the loop, the gameplay loop is very integral to like how the game is played, because if you don't make good rice, you won't fight these enemies. If you won't fight these enemies proficiently, if you don't fight these enemies proficiently, you won't get the resources for your field. It's insane. Like, it's such a unique game, and I'm really enjoying it a lot. Also, it came with a manual.
Oh shit!
I can't remember.
Are there actually words in there?
Hold on. I'm sorry for our audio viewers, but yeah, it's like
there's words.
Words, art,
pictures.
Yeah.
Wow.
All English. No, like I was like, wait, hold on. What?
So it's not half in French?
No, it's all. Does it have a note section in the back? No, it doesn't have a note section.
That's too bad.
But it goes all the way to the last page where they are still telling you new information. It's yeah.
Where do you get the pigtail?
Huh?
Where do you get the pigtail?
No, they're not gonna tell you. You'll never know.
Never know.
Not until 25 years later when you play the game.
Somebody finds it. But yeah, I've just been enjoying that game like quite a bit. Like it was a little rocky at first because, like I said, I think by design they want you to fail and like flounder around a lot to try to figure things out. But once you get things down pat, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm really into this rice farming simulator action slasher.
Okay, all right. You got to tell me, is there an attack called Paddywhack?
No.
Oh, missed opportunity. Missed opportunity, man.
Well, I haven't got everything yet. There's a lot of there's a lot of like special skills in it. God,
there better be an attack called Paddywhack.
But are these attacks any sort of like Dragon Quest punny type of things? Because if there aren't, okay, then there's a chance.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
Okay,
I didn't even talk about the day and night cycle in this game.
That's part of the farming, like day and night.
Yeah, and I actually had to Google this. I was like, when's the best time to put fertilizer down? When the sun is up or overnight? And the game actually tells you later on, like in year 3, they're like, yeah, it's actually better to, as soon as you wake up, you put the fertilizer down and you just do all your stuff. But I found the answers on Google. The people that made this game, I don't know.
They want you to actually research rice farming?
I did.
Right. I guess that was their goal. I tell you, this is a propaganda piece.
I like rice.
Growing rice? For self-sufficiency?
It's so heartbreaking. I remember year 2 where I was like, yeah, I got this. Yeah. And you get the screen at the end where you get like all the stats and stuff like that. And she was like, this was terrible. And I was like, oh my God, I did everything. And it shows like, oh, the temperature wasn't right when you took it out this day. The weeds you didn't take out fast enough. You didn't put the fauna out. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, but Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. The story's actually pretty good too. I didn't even talk about this story.
Oh, you kind of did. We kind of waved it off being the goddess of rice thing. So
every night the characters come together and eat dinner because you get buffs from every dinner from every meal you eat, and you learn a lot about the story in the world when everybody's sitting down, and just seeing interactions between these humans and this god is really interesting. And you already noticed where the story's gonna go. She's gonna be like, "They're my family," and just seeing the ramp up to that is really, I could tell it's gonna hit some real good marks. Because she's like, I don't want to stay here. I want to go back to they call the lofty realm with the basically heaven. And I was like, I want to go back to heaven, and she's gonna be like, nah. By the end of the game, she's gonna say, I want to stay here with my family.
Does the goddess of rice have a name?
Sakuna.
Oh, Sakuna, of course.
It's in the title.
Okay, it's Sakuna.
Yeah, what
okay.
system is this on?
I have it for the Switch, but it is on the PS4, PS4, and the PC as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought she'd be named Jasmine or something.
I don't know her sister. Yeah, that is all right. I don't know what her sister's name is.
Orzo.
But Yeah, but that's me.
All right, Joe.
All right. Well, more adventures into tactical RPGs. By the way, I'm keep trying to fill that Divinity hole.
Okay.
Yeah. So Pillars of Eternity didn't really do it for me. I played it for hours and hours and hours, and I never really felt satisfied with it. So there was another game kind of like it that was on my radar after Pillars didn't satisfy, called Pathfinder Kingmaker. It was like kind of recommended to me after I started, poking around. Like, what are some other games like this? It has the same active combat style.
Mm-hmm.
Has the same turn-based switch if you want, but it's Dungeons and Dragons based. It's based off of the Pathfinder system, which is kind of like a third edition of third edition. They call it 3.75. So I'm kind of familiar with the rules this time. So I know what does what. All they same problems. They throw a bunch of small numbers at you this time, but like it's Dungeons and Dragons third edition. I already know this.
Yeah.
Hooray!
I know what this is.
Yeah.
What edition are they up to? 5th, right?
They're up to 5th, yeah. But the Pathfinder system is still using 3.75.
Okay.
So it has Thaco?
No, that's 3rd edition is post Thaco. They don't use to hit armor class 0 anymore.
They didn't use Thaco in 3rd edition?
They did not use Thaco in 3rd edition.
Wow.
Nope. Well, that was my adventures into D&D was 3rd edition. So I'm very familiar with what's going on. I'm jumping in. There's a bunch of new stuff around, but there's like a bunch of familiar stuff too. And it was tough to get into this one for the not really the same reasons as it was kind of tough to get into Pillars of Eternity. Is that, man, D&D at first level sucks. D&D at first level is so terrible. I'm running into combat and it's like
especially in 3rd, man.
Especially when you said that small stat gains in this too. So it was like,
yeah, well,
everything you have like 4 HP.
Mm-hmm. It was harsh. I played the spellcaster class first, so of course, but I knew what I was getting into.
No health.
I had no health, but that's not the problem. The problem was that my companions were all terrible and like had really terrible stats.
Like you roll for these stats?
No,
for your companions?
No, you don't. Because they give you a fighter with paladin stats, and her story is that she's an ex-paladin. But I'm like, what am I going to do with all this charisma?
talk to the ladies, man. Get them bribes.
Yeah, get laid in the bar. That's about it.
No, that's the companion characters. What am I going to do with all this charisma? What am I going to do with this 14 strength? Sure, your shield is nice, and you can't get hit, but you can't do anything. The Barbarian was really good, though. I had fun with that. Yeah.
Okay, calm down, Chris.
What?
Perked up over there.
Yeah. Look, it's you say Barbarian or Monk, I'm in.
Yep. Yeah. They don't give you a cleric right away, so you're struggling to heal.
No healing.
I mean, they give you a bard, and like they have like bards have cure light wounds, but it was kind of harsh at the start.
Yeah, that sounds rough.
And I mean, you find a cleric eventually, but the problem is
light HP. So all you need is light wounds.
The problem is they give you this cleric who is like melee focused, and he's always wading into melee and just getting smashed up. And I'm like, what are you doing? You are my healer. Do not just stop that.
Stay back here with me, please.
That.
Yeah. And then this back behind me, actually.
And then
he's got this mace. He just wants to use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I get it.
No, like I need you to not be here.
What's Fortunately, the point of having a mace if you can't use it?
That's right. Fortunately, they give you another cleric who doesn't have melee weapons. So.
That's nice.
I mean, they could have just given him a crossbow, but it's felt wrong. Anyway, unlike Pillars of Eternity, you can't adjust the AI, so I had to sort of micromanage it. It was a little more, it was a little more manageable this time because I kind of knew what I was getting into. The only thing is that travel time in this game pretty much sucks. Because you have to stop and rest at like every few blocks. There's like a map, and you like shuffle your piece along this map.
We playing D&D now, boys.
We're playing D&D. We're playing D&D. So the story,
D&D experience.
Yeah, the story is, there's this land besieged by a bandit lord, and you're trying to liberate it, and whoever liberates it is the new baron of the land, so you get to become like the ruler of this new kingdom. Eventually that happens, and there's this whole city management thing to it now. And that's okay. I'm not sure I liked it that much. It seems like it's really kind of a hassle. Where you, like, your companions and your advisors, and you have these problems that your citizens are dealing with, and you're placing buildings and structures to enhance your barony, and acquiring regions, building new villages, and I haven't really got to, like, the meat of it yet. But the thing about it is that it forces you to go back on the adventure, because the time passes quickly while you're doing the city management thing. And every once in a while, you're like, your kingdom is about to be destroyed. Let's you go do this thing right now that we didn't tell you about like 7 months ago. I'm like, that would have been nice to know that was going to happen.
So when you travel back to your kingdom, is it like a fast travel thing, or you still have to go through
the pass? You still have to go through the pass, and it's so slow. It is so slow, and I'm like, please tell me there's a way to speed this up. No, so there isn't.
Guys, take it. I'll find another kingdom.
Yeah, on my path. I don't like. It's no wonder these lands weren't taken over for. Just going to and you move slower through forests and mountains too, and I'm like, please stop. Just go, okay? And then your companions get tired as you walk. And like, can we rest now? I'm like, you moved 2 squares.
Those 2 squares were towns, Joe.
Yeah. But no, it's Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm having fun. I'm having more fun with this than I did with Pillars of Eternity. I think if you took elements of this game and combined it with elements of Pillars, then I think I would have had a much better time with both of these than it would have individually. Like Destiny is still like not Destiny, Divinity is still like the high point for these tactical RPGs that I've been on this year. But I like this one. And I'm looking forward to playing more of it because there's new stuff for like 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons that I haven't tried yet. I'm like, ooh, I haven't done this for a long time, and I understand this system, so I know what the good shit is. The thing about it is, it's a little different in this versus like the pen and paper version. So I get to like a certain level where I'm about to get like a new spell that I'm looking forward to getting, and it like works mechanically differently than I expected it or remember it, or they changed it or something. Like, it's kind of disappointing. But I'm making it work. I know what buffs are good. I know what spells are good. I know what abilities are good. I know where to build characters. So now my party is running through and just smashing shit, and it's great. It's wonderful.
So, how hard would this game be if you didn't have that knowledge of D&D?
It'd be the same problems I had going to Pillars of Eternity. Gotcha. Where there's a bunch of like level ups that do like really minuscule things that probably add up, that they just don't know how to add up efficiently. Gotcha. So like it has that same problem, but this time I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, so you kind of know what'll work and what won't.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's good.
That's about as much as I can say about it right now. I'm not sure how far into it I am. I'm like at level 9, and 3rd edition goes to level 20. So I got a ways to go. Maybe I'm
halfway.
It seems like I'm halfway, but it doesn't feel like I'm halfway in the story.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of world to explore, but I don't want to do it because, like, in order to go explore this thing, I have to get so far away from my capital, and then, like, I have to do the kingdom management thing, so I have to go back to my capital. Like, I can't get too far away.
That seems weird.
It does seem weird, and, like, it breaks the flow.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really focus on one thing or another at one time. It's like they force you to go back and forth.
Sounds like you need a couple of governors and a cell phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a high maintenance game, and it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy it. It was $20. It's scratching that itch for right now until I really can get that next tactical RPG, or just go back to Divinity. I don't know. Maybe I'd probably go back to Divinity. Yep. But let's get to what you want to hear, Theo.
Yes. I was waiting for this.
Yep. So, Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Oh my god.
It's also a tactical RPG.
Also, it's not quite. But it is. But much like an RPG, it is very, very narratively driven.
Well, That's a Yakuza game.
Right? But like I felt like the prologue of this game lasted about 4 hours and 2 chapters.
Oh, the Persona game. Shit.
Like I wasn't able to go and do any mini games until I was in like halfway through chapter 3.
Oh.
And that was like well into like 4 hours into the game. I've been playing this game pretty much exclusively on stream. So everything I've done so far is like readily available. You can just see the length of it. And there's just so much backstory going into this.
Joe, drop your info, man.
Right, like what do you mean?
Your
Twitch. Yeah, you can watch me play it on twitch.tv/TJ Maelstrom.
There we go.
Okay. I'm a terrible promoter. I'm sorry.
I know. Someone's got to do it.
I'm over here talking about the video game. My bad. So
it's all good.
So finally,
the video game.
Yeah. But the protagonist is a really blustery, loudmouth kind of guy who
I love him.
Who is often spouting stuff out of his mouth that can't cash.
Mm-hmm.
He's self-proclaimed hero, grew up playing Dragon Quest, and they named Dragon Quest all over the place. He idolizes this guy that rescued him when he was like a thug and as a teenager. He grew up in like this burlesque bar and was raised by the girls who work there. So he's like all into that life. And he fell in with this Yakuza crowd. And he idolizes that guy that saved him. And then in a narrative twist, I'm going to spoil a little bit here.
It's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer. He makes you... Take the fall. He takes the fall for a murder that occurred. So he goes to prison for this guy and spends 18 years in jail.
It's a long time, man.
From 2001 until 2019. And I love this whole man at a time thing.
Yes.
That is one of my favorite tropes in storytelling is the person at a time thing. And he's dropped in this world and he recognizes nothing and people are on their smartphones. He's like, what the hell is this? Like, what the hell is a selfie stick people are using? He's all confused.
Think about this. You said he was in jail for what, 18 years?
18 years.
How old is smartphones? 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Can you fucking imagine?
I'm thinking about the gap between 2001 and 2019. I'm like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
This guy may as well be from the Stone Age.
Yeah, you are on a new planet. You are literally in a new world.
You're on a new planet.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating to watch. So he gets out of jail, and some more narrative spoilers happens, and he lands in this Hoboville, full of hobos, and you get Hoboville, and you have to scrape and scrounge back up, and this game makes you work for that money. Oh man! Like
Yakuza, Sega game.
The Yakuza games had that money rolling in at some point, but this one makes you feel like 500 yen is worth something.
Mm-hmm.
It is really, really crazy. And then at that point, that is when the game gets as dumb as the trailers had projected. That's when it gets stupid.
It gets full stupid.
It goes full stupid. Once you go looking for a job, and you get past all that whole...
This is my favorite shit.
Yep. You land across this hobo who was a nurse who healed you. This cop who got fired protecting you. You're all homeless and looking for work.
The hostess lady
the hostess lady gives you a home. This is Hobo Quest, is what this is. You are.
Please tell me you work a forklift somewhere.
Not yet.
Damn it.
Not yet. But what you do is you ride on a bicycle collecting cans in a street like it's Pac-Man.
Oh my god.
I want to play this game so
the
badly.
The moment
you haven't gotten it.
I cannot play. I cannot start this right now. Right?
Yeah.
So it takes a while to get there, like a chapter 3, about 4.5 hours in, where you go look for work with your stalwart party of hobos. And you stumble across this bat in the ground. And your first party member tries to pick it up. Like, nope, it's not working.
Hold on. You see this bat 4 hours into the game?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's just stuck into the ground. Your second party member tries to pull it up. And then, what's his name? Ichiban Kusaga is his name. was a great
number one, baby.
Number one, Ichiban Kusaga. And then he tries to pull the bat out of the ground, and there's all these glowy effects, and like a storm appears over his head. He lifts it up like He-Man. And I'm like watching this, and I'm like, oh, now we're getting to it.
I have to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, how can I say this? Is the world in on what's happening? Like when he picks up that sword, because I've seen that scene, and like the storm clouds come. Is the world seeing that, or is just him?
I am literally about to get to that. The very next thing that happens is a bunch of hooligans wander up to you because everybody in Yakuza games, Japan is like full of the most aggressive people in the world.
Not true. I've been to Japan and is
in the Yakuza universe, everybody is either timid and terrified or just insanely aggressive.
A grade A psychopath.
Exactly. So these dudes just wander up on you and they're like, "What's up? You got a bat?" And this guy's like, "Yeah, I got a bat. What do you want me to do about it?" I don't know. It's something that's like how it goes. And then the next thing that happens is there's a bunch of flashes of light, and these enemies transform into big, giant caricatures of what they were before.
Yes. You're filling Theo with life right now. You realize that?
and Ichiban looks around. He's like, "What just happened? Did you guys see that?" And the guys are like, "What are you talking about? Like that nothing happened."
Fuck yeah.
So you are seeing his hallucinations happen.
Oh my god.
Fucking damn. This is amazing.
This is amazing. And I figured out the theme of the game, by the way. They keep talking about Dragon Quest and how you're leveling up your job skills and all that. And I'm like, oh, life is an RPG.
Yep.
So this is a fantasy reflection of life as an RPG that you're seeing happen in this guy's mind.
That's so meta.
Yeah.
That's how I see the world.
Yep.
Numbers, baby.
Like there's crazy stuff, and they all have great names. Like, oh shit, they're escaping me right now. Damn. What was the good one? Hungry Hobo.
Yeah,
was one of them.
This is the beer guy, the Berserker.
Berserker is another one. Like their names.
Your jobs. I don't know. I don't know how far you are into your actual jobs,
right.
Like your classes in the game, but one of your jobs is a b-boy.
I haven't gotten to the jobs yet.
Just a fucking b-boy, just a dancer, yo. And I'm like,
Yakuza loves its dancing form.
It really does. It has all the Yakuza absurdity and the side quests and all that. I just helped a hobo build a bookshelf with boards and nails. I had to get the wood from a karate class that was breaking boards, and I had to get the nails from these thugs that had nails inside a bat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I had to get the materials for the bookshelf.
Sure.
I hope.
Yeah, this game goes really crazy after
I hope this game is massively successful because
I haven't even talked about the combat yet. But go ahead.
Oh no! Only because we don't get weird RPGs.
This is a very weird RPG.
Like strange. Like you think about the PlayStation generation, like PlayStation 1, you have things like Parasite Eve, like Valkyrie Profile, Vagrant Story. You have weird things like that, and I want if you could just poke fun at JRPGs, like I think more people would be way into them.
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening here.
Mm.
So the combat is pretty much a simulation of what's actually happening, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Where you just go in there and your hobo friend is like throwing seeds at people and pigeons are attacking them. Your cop friend is using tonfa. You have a bat and you're just like swinging this bat around, knocking people on their asses, and you're summoning big burly dudes from this phone service. They give you this Pokédex for all the enemies you defeat. There's a whole quest dedicated to it. Where you,
what do they call it?
The suspicious jittery men. They call them suspicious jittery men.
To put a bestiary
hold on. They call them suspicious jittery men, and they shorten it to Sujimon. So you get the Suji Dex.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And you meet the professor who makes you pick between a guy dressed in a green suit, a red suit, and a blue suit.
Oh, fuck. Fuck.
Damn. I can't play this right now.
Whole side quest dedicated to some guy pissing in a dirty canal.
Oh.
And the language they used for that was fantastic. There were so many euphemisms for urinating thrown in to unrelated sentences. Like, they weren't even talking about urination anymore. They were using the word tinkle, like tinkle or spray, drain, and I'm like, this is great writing. This is fantastic writing, and it's the localized version too.
It's like they got the team that localizes Dragon Quest to localize this game.
They had to do something because they're mentioning Dragon Quest like crazy. Like crazy.
What's his favorite Dragon Quest? Just curious.
Me?
No, Ichiban.
Oh, he doesn't even go by number. He just calls it Dragon Quest.
Okay, that's fair.
Maybe that'll come up later on, but right now he doesn't mention it.
I mean, so, if you went to jail in 2001, the last one you played was
7.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's his favorite, but
yeah. I mean, you never really see him playing video games. Oh, speaking of video games, this game has the only current generation version of Virtua Fighter 5 you can play. Fully functional Virtua Fighter 5, 2 players.
That was the announcement that they had before.
It's also got Fist of the North Star Pachinko.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Konami.
That makes sense.
I swear to fucking God, Sega.
They released it. You just have to buy an RPG to play it.
Virtua Fighter 2 is in there too.
Virtua Fighter 2 is also in there.
Oh, I love that game as well.
Both of them are playable from the menu.
Oh my God.
Without unlocking it, which is fantastic. You don't have to unlock it. It's like, you want to play Virtua Fighter? Go right here. Go right here. Here it is in this menu.
I legitimately love that. That's the best way to play Virtua Fighter 5. I think that's super fucking funny.
Well, you could use Steam Play Together to play online.
Yep. It's easier than plugging in one of these.
Yeah, it is. I think that's incredible.
I don't want to make it a habit of fighting the elderly.
I love it. God, I love Virtua Fighter so much.
So I'm really enjoying this game so far.
I am so happy to hear. I'm really happy to hear that he's enjoying it. I was a little worried. I was like, man,
I really like it.
There's no way Joe wasn't gonna like
it.
Was
no way I was gonna like it. The only thing is, I've kind of broken the money thing.
Oh, the economy. It's an RPG. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I've kind of circumvented the whole "you're a hobo and you have no money" thing, only because I know how to play mahjong now.
That's what happens, man.
Like, I go in there, I'm like, okay, I have enough money to play a mahjong table. I'm rich now. Now I have money. I walk there.
Theo made macros for gambling and Dragon Quest, so don't feel bad.
Fuck, I did do that.
It's true. I remember that. I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Totally about that.
Super glad I learned how to play mahjong.
Amazing. Because of Yakuza. Now it's
because of Yakuza, and now it's got full circle where I'm like abusing mahjong to play Yakuza.
I love it. I fucking love it.
And don't it feel good?
So I was pretty much sold on this game, and the only thing that's stopping me from getting it right now is the fact that I'm still actively trying to get the PlayStation.
Oh, I thought it was because you were playing the other RPG.
Well, yes, I am playing another RPG, but I'm
playing his dumb anime shit.
The thing that sold me on it was you remember the Hammerhead enemies in Dragon Quest, Theo?
Yes. Yeah.
With the hammer. Power up sometimes, and they go and try to take a swing, and they fall over and don't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's in this. they have a Hammerhead enemy in the game, and I saw it, and I'm like, yeah, it's Dragon Quest. And then I started seeing the names, and I'm like, yes, it's Dragon Quest.
Honestly, I didn't even think about Dragon Quest enemies being in this game. Huh.
I did.
Representations of them.
Yeah.
I did walk past a pile of trash and got ambushed by a guy dressed in a trash bag. That's something that did happen. Yeah. There's a lot of quests that revolve around trash.
Well, you're
a hobo. Crazy hobo quest.
Yeah, you're playing crazy hobo quest.
Is the story ludicrous, or does it get deadly serious when it gets deadly serious?
It gets deadly serious when it gets deadly serious, and it goes back and forth, and it always feels natural.
I love it.
Goes back and forth, and it always feels natural. God. Always.
Yeah, I'm 100% gonna get this. There was no question about it. I
literally
cannot play that right now.
This is a delightful game, and I'm so happy that I was looking forward to it, and it's meeting my expectations.
Good, that's great.
I am very, very happy.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
gem in the rough, man.
I was holding out. I was holding out for this game. Like I was playing that Pathfinder game to try to hold me off into Yakuza. And now I'm playing both of them, and I'm like, I'm not bored anymore right now. This is great.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Cool. November is set, and then Cyberpunk next month. I'm good. I still have to finish my Wet Bandits Deus Ex playthrough. I'm still having fun with that.
And I got stuff. Wet Bandits playthrough in Cyberpunk.
Weren't you the guy not even like 45 minutes ago saying that you're never playing 3 games at once?
And look at him now.
No, they're all separate. I play Yakuza 1 hour, and then I play Pathfinder another, and then Deus Ex.
You said we were crazy for playing multiple games.
Well, yeah, you are, because how do you play them all simultaneously? That's nuts.
What?
Yeah. I can't control 3 games at the same time. That's ludicrous. How do you do that?
All right.
Funny.
That one got by you. All right. Well, that's about as much as I can say about both of these things. Cause
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons and Crazy Yakuza, and they're both great.
My lineup hasn't changed. Still
Genshin Impact.
Genshin had a new patch, whole lot of quality of life things, including key config and control.
I was gonna say, can you change your controller finally? Thank God.
Why is that not like breaking news?
Yeah, like everybody, they didn't think it was gonna make it in, and then it was just like in the patch notes. And
how about that?
Nobody was like shouting it. It's just like it's
that should be the number one thing. That should be the tagline. Yeah, we got key. Yeah, 1.1 does other stuff, but key binds. We got it. Got it.
And the worst part is now that I just got so used to it.
That's
all of the things that annoyed me don't annoy me anymore.
That was my worry.
I mean, is it really a worry if it works?
Did make me plug in the controller to see how it worked with
Oh, you're playing. I thought you playing mouse and keyboard.
Mouse and keyboard. And the attack no longer being on circle is nice.
What kind of
feels wrong?
What kind of controller support does it have?
Everything.
I have my PlayStation 4 controller in, and it shows PlayStation 4 buttons.
Yeah, and Xbox One I hooked up, and it just automatically switched to the buttons.
All right,
I was just switching Pro Controller probably works too.
It might, but like so far the only thing that has like that taken care of already is Steam. I'm not sure. Maybe I could route it through Steam to make it work. I can add as a non-Steam game, and then maybe I don't know. Well, I can try it out. I can check it out, but like my hands are full right now.
It's not like the PlayStation 4 controller is something that's like, as plug and play as the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
So the fact that it has the PlayStation button prompts is pretty good.
Yeah, I like that.
It also gives you the option to flip the confirm and cancel buttons.
Nice.
So put the confirm button where I'm used to it being and not where Nintendo wants it to be.
I'll take PlayStation prompts over Xbox prompts any day. Because God damn, like
you're right.
Because they swapped the letters. They messed up. They messed up. Yeah,
I can't have the same button layout as Nintendo.
I can't fucking stand it though. I'm sorry.
When I was playing in the Wii 360 generation, when I was playing a lot of those systems, and I would play the classic controller, I would constantly get messed up.
Yep,
constantly.
And what was it when you were on the stream and I was like, the worst prompt I can see in any game is press X. 3 different locations on 3 different controllers.
North, west, and south.
Yep.
It was just like I was playing, I think it was Final Fantasy IX on the Steam release, and the buttons weren't reflecting the PlayStation buttons.
Uh-oh.
They were reflecting the Xbox buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like press X, and in the play, the Blank versus Zidane part of the play.
Want to be your canary here.
Like, press X, and I was just like, keep getting it wrong. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, right.
Boo! Get off the stage.
It's like 4 people out of 100 were impressed. I was like, great. I guess I kind of have to do this again, and I didn't do much better because I was just like, I have to think too much about these buttons.
I can't stand it. Yeah, I actually got around to fixing that. I finagled it, so now it's perfectly fine, and it's in tune to what I need it to be. So thankfully, I had that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically full controller config, and it plays well on a controller. Genshin.
Looks like it would.
The biggest issue is that it's not taking advantage of the fact that you're still on a computer, so you no longer have mouse control. Like there just is no mouse control. Period. It's like your mouse and keyboard are not connected anymore.
Yeah, and I think that game, it has so much different small menus that it is actually better to be on mouse and keyboard. It plays better, like the action portion, but like if you want to do stuff in the menus, like I would 100% want to use mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I would. Listen, if I could just switch between the two, I don't even need to switch. If it was just like The Witcher 3, I played on controller because I did not like mouse and keyboard for the combat. I hated it. You know, I almost stopped playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, let me try it on controller. And then I was like, okay, this feels a lot better. But I tried to go and do anything in the menu on the controller. I'm like, nope, this is not going to work.
Bad.
This is like the worst.
And that's before they fixed the menu stuff.
Yes, and they fixed it. It's a lot better now. Yeah. But I was like, okay, well, I can still use the keyboard to navigate it. And it's not like my keyboard is right here in front of me. So it's not like I'm far where I can't touch my keyboard when I have the controller. Like I have the controller literally right above my keyboard. So when I need to go into the menu, I can just like take one hand off and hit escape and then do what I got to do.
Yeah.
Like it's not a struggle. So I don't know why they just don't.
Yeah.
There's icons on the screen.
Maybe in the next patch.
You literally, I
have no purpose.
I don't know. Like if I'm playing with controller, I don't know how to get to those icons in the top right. I'm like, these icons.
I don't get it. Like, I don't know why they're there when you have the controller. There's like the UI. When you're using the controller, the UI looks so much cleaner.
Yeah.
It looks so much cleaner. Like the icons aren't as big. You have more screen space. I think the controller UI looks great. Like, but I'm just gonna keep using the mouse and keyboard.
They'll fix it.
Yeah, maybe in the next patch.
Like, maybe by the time they fix it, I don't think that there's gonna be any reason for me to touch the controller. I'll just be so used to it by then. Yeah. And it controls well.
I kind of got that way with Hades, where I was playing Hades on mouse and keyboard the whole time. Before I picked the controller, I'm like, I could use this. And then I went to use it. I'm like, I hate this.
The controller, huh?
Yeah. Well,
there are a lot of stuff that you have to aim.
Yes.
The auto aim is forgiven, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So they added a lot of quality of life things to the point where you kind of feel bad for having played it at launch for all of the stuff that they added. But then they gave you so much free stuff for playing at launch. It was just like, if you didn't start at launch, I'm sorry, you're not gonna get half the stuff.
It's always my rationale with these like live service games or MMOs. Like the later you start, the better you are. They just were like, here's everything here.
Yep.
But since it's a free to play game, and they give you premium currency for
logging in,
just existing. Yeah. The longer you played the game, the better off you are.
Yeah.
And it's just like when they fix a bug, they just like give you 100 currency.
Sorry, that was in.
You don't even have. What's that?
No, they're like, sorry, that was in here. Here.
You don't even have to have the character. they were like, hey, we identified this bug with Kaching, and I'm just like, cool. I don't have the character, so this means nothing to me. I log on and I got 100 gems.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, sure, I'll take it.
Whatever works.
But yeah, it's still good. This wall that you're supposed to hit, where you like run out of content, I still haven't hit it yet. I'm adventure rank 43, and people were complaining they ran out of stuff to do at 35.
I think you're also more tolerant to that stuff than most other people, I think.
Well, I mean, like I know when I run, quote unquote, run out of things to do for the day, that I don't just sit there and keep like bashing monsters like some people feel like they need to do or whatever. It's just like I do the things that I need to do for the day, and then that's it. I'm pretty much done. And anything I'm playing at that point is I'm exploring, just taking in the sights. I'm not like sitting there saying, "Oh man, I need to get to adventure rank 45." I'm just like
refresh.
I mean, I don't need to do all of that. I'm just here stockpiling my currency for the next banner so that I can try to get more powerful characters. And until that happens, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm not in any big rush. I'm just going to log in, do my dailies. I'll do a quest here or there if I feel like I need to. Like I was forced into doing some quests because I was gated out of one of the new features of the patch, which is they put in a reputation system, which is obviously going to be a grind because every reputation system is a grind.
Always, every time, without fail.
They have a lot of the quality of life stuff is in there too. So they're not deep into it, but they are in it. So I did want to get it unlocked. And I had to do like parts of the main quest that I was literally just saying, I'm not touching this until I absolutely have to, where I've run out of literally anything that will get me adventure experience. So,
I know it's probably not important, but how's the story so far?
Like I said, I thought that the prologue story was as good of a story that I have gotten in a lot of full price games. And I'm now like 2 chapters into the Act 1 story right now, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
And there's like there's your normal like anime tropish stuff that's going on in it.
I love that shit. So
it's not egregious. It's definitely nowhere near as egregious as like Cold Steel's anime tropish stuff. Which thankfully there has been no more sexual abuse since I have last played.
Good.
Well, no more hot springs, so you're probably okay.
I was about to say, how much more hot springs though?
Oh, there's more hot springs. They just talk about being naughty instead of like literally groping people.
Yeah, that's good, I guess.
Or maybe it's consensual now?
Well,
excuse me, may I grope you?
Yeah, that would be nice if she wasn't saying, "Hey, don't do that."
Japan's a weird place, man.
Japan.
Yep, that's where the hobos pull out magic swords and.
I've actually seen that happen when I went out there, so that's it's a true story.
Yep.
Wow. Let's not go to Camelot. It's a silly place.
I have to push the Premalot.
So yeah, I'm still enjoying my time at Genshin. Cold Steel got pretty real.
Oh yeah.
Like, very, very good payoff for what happened at the end of 3.
Hey, that's good. Always satisfying payoff is rare.
And that payoff was Act 1. So like once you got through the end of Act 1, now there's more game. You got your payoff for what happened. You got to see the immediate results of it because it's literally like 2 months later. It's not even a very long time. Very cool scenes, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But now, I'm kind of in this lull period because they just had like an early game climax. So they have to really bring it down to be able to set up anything important that's coming later.
Yeah.
So when I saw it happen, I'm like, this isn't Act 1. I knew that it was going to be like the rest match period of the card.
Like that was too crazy. They got to bring that down now.
Yeah, they have to. There was no way. There was just like the main antagonist of the series. You just had like your first actual fight against him because you've never actually fought him.
Oh wow! Is this the last one in the series? This one?
It's the last one of the Cold Steel series.
Cold Steel, yeah.
Probably not the last game in the universe.
There's another Trails game that's already been released.
Yeah, I knew that.
So, like, at this point, I don't even know if this guy's going to end up actually being the final boss or anything. I just know that he's basically been the main antagonist. But he's
going to join your team.
Like right at the end, he's going to join your team and fight the real big antagonist.
Yeah, here comes Zeromus.
Like it's a rider, or it's like a rider show or some shit.
Yeah.
Fuck Zeromus.
Here comes Ultimacia. Here comes Necron. Final Fantasy does this a lot. Here comes the Cloud of Darkness.
Yeah, they do. Quite often.
Cloud of Darkness is just dumb, though.
Even the name.
Yeah.
It's not a good enough name for you?
Nah. Dark Cloud. Cool. Oh, we're fighting it. All right. Here we go.
that boss music is... Oh, God, the music in Final Fantasy 3 is so good.
It's really good.
Yeah. I'm not talking about 6. 3. 3s.
No, yeah.
End of generation Nintendo, end of generation Super Nintendo. Like, those two systems of music that was coming out of them. Or even the end of generation Game Boy. Like...
Yo...
When you were limited to what you could use to make music, you really had to learn how to make music.
Mm-hmm.
These guys made some really good bangers.
Yep. Yeah. Final Fantasy Adventures music is so good, it's psychotic.
It's so good.
It's psychotic. It doesn't make sense. It's so good. I will never understand how they made that soundtrack on that sound chip. It is unbelievable.
God damn, Eternal Wind is in my head now.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
I'm sorry, I just went right to the Solstice intro.
Wow.
Okay.
Eternal Wind for life, man.
You know, a game has like ridiculously good music, and you wouldn't even think that it would have ridiculously good music. Game Boy RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Listen to the music from that game.
Okay.
Just like after this tonight, just look up Game Boy RoboCop. The music.
KH Insider, it's on there, I think.
Ridiculous.
Another hidden gem of NES music, Shatterhand.
Yep. Great soundtrack.
Yeah. Like, just wow.
I love when that happens when you're like, nah.
Like this mediocre game has amazing music.
Yeah.
Did the Fallens do this?
Makes the game better, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, good music makes mediocre games more bearable.
It really does.
It's why I will tolerate Little Big Planet.
Good music, huh?
I actually enjoy the music in Little Big Planet quite a bit.
I believe
that game is there got to be something about the game you enjoy, because you certainly don't enjoy the gameplay or the game.
Oh, Chris, did you play the Chris? Did you play the Astro game that came to your PlayStation 5? Did you play that yet?
I haven't touched it yet.
No. Okay, all right.
I heard it was a bit more than just a dumb tech demo.
Yes,
a lot of people are like saying that it's actually a pretty good game.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it. I thought it was installing. The fuck is this?
Oh, okay.
I think that's all right. I think that's really cool that they have a pack in.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
And like while I was booting up my PlayStation for the first time, they were like, "Oh, if you have a disc, just put it in now. It'll start."
Every Game Boy needs their Tetris.
That's what I like to see.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of Game Boys that are releasing with Tetris these days.
No,
not a lot of Game Boys really released at all, for that matter.
What was that pen, Joe?
What? This pen?
You have the Vote pen?
I have the Vote pen.
My Vote pen's in the other room.
Yeah.
This is the best pen that I have ever gotten.
Oh my god, the stylus one is great.
I just love like this poking the stylus. I have been poking the stylus all night.
It's a pen that I use to take my notes currently.
Yeah, and it actually writes very well too.
It's very good. Yeah,
it writes well. It's a great stylus.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So when I went on an election day to go vote for Kanye, they gave me this pen. So.
It wasn't a black pen?
The best thing that New York has ever made.
All right, that's a loaded statement.
I'm gonna ignore that.
That was a whirlwind of a day, but anyway.
All right, so let's go ahead and.
Are you're conceding to talk about that?
Let's go ahead and switch gears to some news. Talk about what's going on with the Xbox sales currently, among other things that have happened recently.
Yep.
We'll go to it after the break.
2-2. That's not my line.
That's a Chuck Woolery line. Woolery. Yeah.
All right, so back from break. Let's finish off our new console news. We have Microsoft straight from Xbox.com. All thanks to us. It's the biggest launch in Xbox history. You're welcome. Liz Hammerin. I appreciate you thinking that I helped.
I'm still holding my Person of the Year award very proudly.
Nice. So in this, it's not really like an official release with any mega data or anything, but in this she says your support and what you accomplished in the first 24 hours of launch inspire us and demonstrate the connective power of play is more important than ever. More new consoles sold than any prior generation. I'm assuming they mean for Xbox generations and not just saying that they've outsold every console first couple of days.
They sold more Xbox on launch day than they have ever sold Xboxes on launch day before.
Mm-hmm.
With the Xbox Series S adding the highest percentage of new players for any Xbox console at launch. So we know that not everyone is able to get an Xbox Series X or S immediately, and working tirelessly with our partners around the world to bring as many new consoles to as many of you as possible over time, and encourage you to check in with your local retailers for more details on availability in your market. Everybody, this was not a good year for launching things, by the way.
Maybe the worst.
It was impressive that they managed to launch things, but everything sold out immediately.
Yep,
everywhere.
PlayStation 5s, NVIDIA video cards, Ryzen processors, and now Xbox. The Xbox Series. Yeah, that works. Okay.
Yeah.
How much can we attribute to stock though?
I mean,
I would assume that the supply of these consoles and all the other stuff that came out this year is significantly lower than a normal year.
Right, and while I might have been inclined to agree with you in say March when webcams were selling out, or in June where capture cards were selling out.
Yeah.
We're in November now, and it's kind of a known quantity that everybody is stir crazy in the house.
Yep.
And they want things to do while they're in the house.
Oh, maybe it was their economic projections that just were off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Sony claimed that they wanted to have 5 or 6 million units distributed for this season. And, that's impressive, I suppose. But I don't know if that's a realistic amount to say, because right now everybody just... I mean, there's a lot of people who don't have their jobs, but then there's also a lot of people who still have their job and are spending less money because they don't have to travel as much.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to they don't have to fill up on gas as often. They don't have to, buy lunch out as often. So while yes, there is a severe economic issue around this, the pandemic of, there's a percentage of people who are not okay with their financials. There's also a portion of people who are actually doing as well or even better.
Right.
I'm one of those people, frankly.
Listen, I'll get a little personal here. I took a 25% pay cut since I've been out of the office, and it has not even been reverted yet. And I have saved more money this year than I have in any other year from back when we were working.
Of course, because you're not eating out.
Video game retailer.
Yeah, because you're not eating out anymore. You're not
buying a monthly Metro card.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that you're no longer dealing with in working from home, so you don't really feel the pinch.
Yeah,
and on top of that, I don't have to pay for daycare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's just a lot of things that because of it came together.
Yeah,
even though I'm technically making less now, I ended up saving a lot more.
Yeah,
so. Me personally, I look at it, I have the disposable income now that I probably would have had if I were working, and I would have to actively save to do it. Now it's disposable income if I wanted to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels kind of weird that they wouldn't be able to see this as something that happened, because it's not like everything closed down.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain areas where nothing closed down probably to their detriment, but
yeah,
there are people who can get these, and there are people who know that there are people who can get these, and that's why so many of them are getting scooped up and sold on the secondary market.
Yep, or being sold out the second it comes online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
scalpers are having a field day with PS5s right now. Let me tell you,
not just PS5s. I guess like before, NVIDIA video cards, Ryzen processors,
remember switches earlier in the year.
Yep, those
ran out. Those ran dry. Switches ran dry.
Dude, you couldn't get switches for months.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I was actually really surprised.
Thank God.
Yeah. Now they actually are selling gangbusters, but
they're still flying off the shelf. But you can get them. They've slowed down a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
So. Obviously, it's probably too early to have any real numbers for this, and Microsoft has not wanted to divulge their numbers for the entire last generation, essentially.
Because they were losing, that's why. You don't want to put the numbers out there when you're losing.
But
3-1, guys, just say we're doing all right. Just say Game Pass is all right, guys.
So hopefully they do better, just for the fact that, competition is required. You can't just be
rest on your laurels and stuff.
Right? Yep. And PC isn't really competition for the consoles, because there's just infinite games on the PC.
Yeah.
And there's entire genres on the PC that exist only on the PC, where it's not the same ecosystem. And when you look at the Switch, obviously is not competing with these guys.
Right.
So PlayStation and Xbox need to both exist and be at some level of, I guess, parity. There was no parity last generation. Somebody took a Mike Tyson knockout punch in round 1.
I think Game Pass was a big deal. And I think it will serve this generation in some way, shape, or form.
It's helping. It's going to help them out of the gate.
Yeah,
I think it's also gonna help some games too. Yes. Sometimes when you offer games for free, they explode.
Yeah.
Look what happened with Fall Guys.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason Fall Guys got so massive is because they offered it for free on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people will be playing
League,
that.
Same way.
Yeah, Rocket League was big.
Plus was the reason Rocket League is relevant.
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus has done that a few times now, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That it has.
Which is a nice thing. You put something out there, something that would not have gotten a lot of attention before. I'll give Sony credit for that. I mean, Epic does that with their store, but I won't give them any credit though.
They have so many free games on their store, and I'm just like, I just don't want to download you.
That's right.
I just don't want to do it.
Oh, and PlayStation.
It feels like a deal with the devil. Launcher. It feels like a deal with the devil.
A lot of free games, a lot of free games on PlayStation Plus recently have not been worth even putting in your library.
Yeah. I was about to say you could just add it. Download it.
This last year on Plus was bad.
It's bad. It's bad. And they honestly have to fix that, because I honestly see no reason to get Plus unless you're like a big online player.
Microsoft is going to kick their teeth in terms of like
if they don't fix it.
If they don't fix that a little bit, not only kick their teeth in, but like it might give them a
man.
I mean, the Microsoft equivalent last gen wasn't that great either, because
look, real talk.
They didn't really have any games.
I would say Microsoft needs games, and
that's the big thing.
Yeah, like, and Sony has them. So, which was the Sony's, I guess we'll transition into what we were going to talk about.
Sony's got the bug snacks. I mean,
yeah, for free until January. Free on PlayStation Plus.
Yep.
We're not chilling.
We're chilling
I'm
a little bit.
Cold, actually.
Okay, so Theo's chilling.
All right.
Are you a low form of British currency? Is that what you're saying?
Apparently.
Is that a shilling?
Yes, it's a shilling, Andre.
Okay.
Thank you for getting the joke.
I mean, I got it. Okay, I just wasn't,
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's your gig.
I tell bad good jokes. I tell good jokes on purpose.
Yeah, on occasion.
Occasionally. I was proud of that Miles Morales thing, so take that for what it's worth.
I was not proud of that.
It was really weird, but okay.
It's because you were on the receiving end. That joke was for me, not for you.
Okay, that's a way to tell a joke.
Okay.
Go on.
Thank you. I think now would be as good a time as any to sink our teeth into the previous generation.
God, it still sounds so weird when you say previous generation. It was a week ago.
It was over ago.
Yep.
Look, a lot of things change in a week.
Yeah,
okay.
a lot of lines are getting blurred too.
Man, so. You're right, huh?
It's like walking into a new Warcraft zone.
Say that again.
Like, oh, we're at a new place now. Okay.
Oh, it's snowing now. It was sunny over there. That's weird.
Weird.
All right.
So we are now officially in the 9th generation, now that all 3 players have put out their 9th generation system. No, not meaning that they have 9, just their systems for the 9th generation.
9th generation. Holy shit.
Which I guess was unofficially started with the Switch, because that was Nintendo's next gen console, and that came out a long time ago now because they had to abort.
It's 3 years old.
They had to press the eject button before the ship crash landed.
I could see Owada just going to the factory like cut it out.
Just like you could just like see them taking like Wii U things and just throwing them into the garbage. It's just like chucking them along.
It's a fuel destroy box.
Exactly. It's just like this giant, massive dumpster.
Yep.
So long to the 8th generation of PS4, Xbox One, 3DS, Vita, and Wii U.
RIP.
Also, Amazon Fire TV for some reason is considered part of that generation.
Not the Luna.
The Ouya?
The Ouya.
No, the Ouya. Oh yeah. Fuck.
Where's your Ouya?
Theo, you have one?
Yeah, yours.
I don't have a Ouya.
Get one.
I don't have a Ouya, guys. I should get a Ouya.
You're lying.
I don't have a Ouya.
Why not?
Ouya.
It's like $15.
I don't. Is this actually a game?
What's that?
Okay, well, this cannot be pronounced, I don't think, but maybe it'll be a fun little diversion. So in the Discord, just going to, there you go. This is on GameFAQs the number 2 ranked game on the Ouya.
Babadala Gargatakanekana Rakon Bronan Tiran Tuathan Trova Hauna was Con Tuhu Den and Thurnick.
That's how my brain feels when I play Baba Is You.
This is actually it's fascinating. This is from a little known Welsh developer.
Oh, right. Welsh. That makes sense.
The Welsh.
The Welsh. So I got a question. What generation does Soulja Boy's console fall under?
Oh my god.
Does it exist?
Yeah. It never happened.
We can't do this. We can't.
It's a bad relevant.
Well, we'll set up a poll for our viewers, and we'll get back to it. Well, which generation is Soulja Boy's console? 8 or 9?
Oh, I swear.
And 8, 9, and who is Soulja Boy?
Well, you used to come into the store, so you know.
Yeah, guys, got to tell him.
You.
God damn it! Oh God.
Yeah. So what's going on with this last generation? We're gonna put the bow on it. It's all but done.
Well, it seems like it went on forever, but it also feels like it just started.
That's how every generation feels.
Mm-hmm. This one for me, it felt like I've never felt like that before.
This is us being this is just us being old.
I guess so.
Straight up, no, that's what it is. Like it feels that way because we're just older. Yep. That's the only reason it feels that way. And we're all less excited about new games, mostly.
New consoles, maybe. New games I'm always excited for.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, like, so man, I don't know how to say this. I guess mainly this might be colored with my experience because I've owned mostly Sony consoles. I mean, I've owned Xbox. I owned the first two. I owned the original Xbox, and I owned a 360 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kicked it to the curb the moment I could afford a PS3. Well, because it was on my second 360 already.
Yeah,
in like less than a year.
It's amazing how dedicated people were to their Xboxes in that generation. You know.
Yeah, like I mean, they had a 3-year that 3-year warranty helped Microsoft along with that. To be fair,
if they did not have that, we would not have an Xbox today.
Yeah, because that was such a catastrophic failure of a console. As far as hardware goes,
I cannot believe that they actually came back from that. How bad that was.
It's astonishing the way that generation went.
Yeah,
but
it's real wacky.
And I think it definitely affected the following generation.
100%.
It did in a lot of good ways, and I think in hindsight, I actually really liked this gen over. I like the 8th gen over the 7th gen a lot because it did everything last gen did, but just better. The PlayStation hardware ran, the online functionality was just completely better across the board in every conceivable way. It ironed out a lot of the kinks that the previous generation had started, and anything that was worth playing ended up being ported over at some point, even though it didn't have the backwards compatibility. Like most of the really good games you were able to get on a PS4. So I guess my overall experience of this last console gen actually was I consider to be very positive. I really liked my PS4 a lot. I thought it was fantastic. I never got a Pro, so I can't speak to the difference. I don't have a 4K TV, so I'm playing my that monstrosity in my living room is hooked up to just a plain old, really good TV. But
plain old really good TV.
It is. It's a really nice TV. It's a very large TV. It's got really good output, but it's
it displays the video.
Yeah, it does its job. It's functionality. It's huge.
It's a good large 1080p television.
Yes,
which
exactly.
It's fine.
Which is fine.
That's really what you need.
Yeah, I mean, do I look at a QLED and see the difference? Yeah, of course I do. But I don't look at it every day, so I don't have that immediate comparison all the time.
Mm-hmm.
when I have that problem eventually, which I probably will at some point in my life, and I'll get to that bridge when I cross it, but I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So this last console generation, I really did appreciate just how functional it was. And I know that sounds silly, but
no, I mean,
you didn't hear a lot of stuff about consoles breaking down.
7th gen was a train wreck.
Everything had problems.
Everything had problems,
except for the Wii.
Yeah, yeah, because you have to flush Nintendo products down the toilet for them,
which had its own issues.
Well, ironically, the 8th generation had very solid Xbox, very solid PlayStation, but the Wii U was just like, look at that tablet controller wrong and it breaks.
Yeah.
And you're out like $100.
I did have a PlayStation fail on me. That did happen.
1?
3.
No, okay. PS3's broke.
My PS3's broke.
PS3's broke.
You had a fat? Sorry, not a fat. The 60 gig backwards?
No, it wasn't backwards.
Okay.
It was it did have a Forming Bro one. It wasn't backwards compatible. And in fairness, it was refurbished.
Yeah. The Forming Grills were
that was definitely the exception, unlike
yeah.
I'm sorry. Right now, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm getting the door. Star Trek doorbell. I forgot to mute my phone. It's definitely not as egregious as the Xbox 360 was.
No, not as bad. But the Forming Grills were bad. If you had a backwards compatible one, it was a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
You were definitely sitting there praying every day
that you didn't get the yellow light of death.
You're like, I cannot lose this.
Was the Forming Grill the one you have to slide the top to the left or right or whatever?
That's the third.
No.
That's the third.
Okay.
It's just the big and bulky.
Yeah, the Forming Grill's the original.
Hang on, actually, you know what?
Spider-Man font.
I forgot.
Does he still have it? He probably still has it.
I still have. I didn't know it was a fat. I still have my fat.
Yeah, the Fat Boy.
With the sharp edges, like. Oh no, I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the
That is the first.
This is the one I got after the refurbished one failed.
Yeah, that's the Slim. Okay. The Slim is great. The Slim is fantastic. That's probably the best model. Although the third model was pretty good too. I heard. I
just sitting in a drawer somewhere.
Had the third model,
which I now have to shove back in and close it now.
Yeah,
but there it is.
Yeah, I liked the Slim. It was great. I still have mine. I just showed it earlier. It's the second. That is the second PS3 shown on camera today.
Actually, I completely forgot that the PlayStation 4 had a Slim.
Yeah,
completely forgot.
There was the Slim and then there was the Pro. They were released at the same time.
Yeah, completely forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because nobody wanted that.
Nobody bought it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the people weren't replacing their consoles. That's for sure.
No.
And
they were. Some people were.
Yeah,
Pros very well.
This household has gone through. This household has seen 4 PlayStation 4s.
Jeez,
what
the hell, man?
Two regular ones. We swapped it out for the 2 Pros.
All right. Oh, so there has been 4 in the household at one time.
Not currently.
He needs to have one on every television. So, no matter where he goes, he can always have the positive influence of the PlayStation 4 on his life.
You know, I really thought there'd be more Switch docks being sold for that reason.
They're just too expensive.
Yeah.
They're like $90, yo.
They don't need to be that expensive. That's ridiculous.
And it's just a hunk of plastic.
It's a literal hunk of plastic.
With like a USB-C thing inside of it.
This is the problem with proprietary stuff.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
We don't allow you to use this with any other thing, and they have like literal programming blocks.
Yep.
That people have to work around in order to get it to work. It's just,
and people have.
Yeah.
You could get cheap third party dock Switch docks, but you know what you're gonna get with that.
Mm-hmm. Everybody remember Pelican?
No, I don't.
Good for you,
I guess.
Yeah, good for you, man. That's good.
Yeah, I guess we could talk about the launch of the 8th generation consoles.
Yeah, that was an event.
Oh my! So Joe mentioned earlier that a lot of Microsoft's attitude came from the 360 generation into this one, and the number one thing that came over was their hubris.
They
Every time.
They were
number one.
They were literally PS3.
Yeah,
that they were the hottest shit on the planet.
And it didn't help that they had a suit basically try to sell the system, Don Matrick, where he was just like, "Yo, man, you guys want to fucking play 360 games? We have a console for you. What do you want? What do you want? We're always gonna be online. What are you gonna do, man?" And
it never works out. Every time when anybody in gaming wants to be all smart-assed about something, it never works out, and they just they keep doing it
every single time.
Understand something.
I think they learned this gen, I will say.
Oh, they did. But like, this is the thing. You can't like they will there is no real loyalty in consoles. I know like there is the weird people who will ride or die for certain
there's loyalty, bro.
I know. But like I'm sorry. I think if you were like, "Oh, I'm ride or die for this company," it's like, what are you doing? They don't care. Like, they only care if you pay the money, right?
That's it.
And if you're paying the money, well, that's the thing. That's voting with your dollar matters.
Yes.
Never forget this, people.
Yes.
Never forget this. Voting with your dollar fucking matters.
Yep.
Okay? Because then you get, like, people are like, oh, yeah, they're just going to buy this shit. They're going to want to play our games. They're going to want to play our games.
With an Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that Sony, like, totally crept up to them.
Yes.
During that gen. Totally, but like...
The household name was the 360.
It was. But, like, the sales were comparable by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sony closed the gap.
For a no-name... Let's say the Xbox, the original OG Xbox, wasn't a successful console. So for a no-name system to catch up to Sony on their third console,
that console sucked.
Which is that? What's that?
The 360. But that was here's the thing. That was
Xbox. Was bad.
That was a bad system.
It's a bad system. Halo. One game.
Exclusives are very important.
Yes, they are. Game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that one game was like generational. It was
stress.
Like generational success. That game was successful for 2 generations.
Yeah, yep. Halo 1, well, you got Halo 1 and then it got Halo 2.
Yeah.
Unlike there are
Halo 2 had the online where you're like, oh shit, they hit their stride with that.
Yeah, they did big time. Like that. But overall, that console's trash.
Yeah.
Like there are not a lot of good Xbox
it's a not only that, it is a mechanical disaster.
Oh, it's a piece of shit. It is that's some of the shoddiest hardware.
Oh my god.
Like it is so bad. Like I've never seen an original Xbox that still works.
Mm. So
it wasn't working when Tim gave me his. It stopped working.
Yeah.
So the Xbox One had a disastrous like showing at E3. I remember it was just everybody just made fun of that to the point where Sony made fun of it and it was like, you know how you want to share your games?
There you go.
Yoshida just gave it to the other guy and was like, "This is how you share your games." And legendary moment, incredible, absolutely incredible moment.
The most ridiculous E3 moment I think I've ever seen.
Like when we saw that, we decided who won the generation right there.
Yeah,
right. I would say
in there.
I would say that and Sony's original $299 mic drop. Like
was it
the original PlayStation? They came on stage and they said
PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And they walked away. And that was it. That was the announcement.
I remember thinking that the PlayStation 4 went before the price was announced was going to be some monstrosity, like because we mentioned it earlier. The Wii U, the PS3,
$599 US. That's another reason the Xbox won that. Got that stride. The
Wii U prior came out at $350. So you're like, yo, the system's going to be like $500 easy.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, $399, $400, and I was like. And you look at the Wii U and you're like...
You took off your glasses and you're like...
We're like, holy shit. They're talking completely different architecture with this whole thing. They're like, yo, we're not dealing with that cell processing shit from the PS3. People is going to want to come to us.
Complicated hardware.
Yeah.
Impossible to develop for. Like...
People are going to want to come to us to like put their console... And before the Switch, they were the indie console. you went to Sony and you put your indies on that console.
Mm-hmm.
So they as Joe said, like you knew from the beginning that the PlayStation 4 was going to win. With that said, I actually bought an Xbox One first, like maybe a year later.
Mm-hmm.
When I always have a rule that when I buy a console, I need to have at minimum 3 games that are exclusives to it that I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when they had like Dead Rising 3. I'm a Dead Rising fan. Rise, Son of Rome didn't look super incredible, but it looked actually kind of sort of interesting for a launch title. And then Insomniac unveiled Sunset Overdrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how you feel about that game, Joe.
Yeah.
I know. But I saw that game and it just looked fun.
And I remember seeing that game, and that was the only game I was impressed with.
I was like, "Oh, this looks really fun!" And then they unveiled visually. They unveiled that Final Fantasy 15 was actually going to come out on these systems. So I was like, "Well, Final Fantasy's coming out, so I'm going to need one of these systems anyway." So I was like, "Let me pick the one that has the exclusives that I want." Because honestly, if not for Bloodborne, I don't know when I would have gotten a PlayStation 4. Because actually, Joe, Dre knows I bought Bloodborne before I actually had a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I know.
And played it on his system.
Still have that trophy pack sitting there. I've never touched it.
Yeah, and just this. Chris says that you really like this generation in terms of the console, the PlayStation console itself.
Specifically the PlayStation. Like,
yes, 100. Yeah.
I can't speak too much to the Xbox experience because I do not care for Microsoft as a console company ever.
I like their games. When they introduced Halo Master Chief Collection, I actually those are old games, but I actually really enjoyed going through that with me and Kelly. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play through Halo 1 through like 5. At first it was like 1 through 3, but then they added ODST and then Reach and stuff like that. I'm like, okay.
Didn't that not work?
Terrible at first. Terrible. Well, it was terrible if you want to play online, which I really don't care about that. But if you doing the story co-op stuff, it's fine.
Yeah.
And when I really think back on this gen, like Xbox did nothing for me. And if I'm being completely honest, I think the PlayStation 4 is the least interested I've ever been with Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Because PlayStation 1, it's PlayStation 1 is like its own thing. Like nostalgia aside, is just I have very happy memories with that system.
Yeah, it's like back then everything was unique. You know,
everything was unique, everything was new.
Yeah.
Like
it was new.
Yeah, everything. It's like the entire console was like just laden with their own exclusives.
Yeah. There was a summer in '98 where I actually just read the article about this recently, where Square had a I forgot what they called it, but it was like a Square summer of something where they introduced like 4 games. It was a year that Xenogears came out in '98.
Came out. Yeah,
and
I was gonna say that's the year
I was like, yo, they were just banging out games after games after games that and I remember that summer and I'm like, man, like when I think back on the PlayStation, I have like real like I had that feeling in my chest about that system.
Yeah.
The PlayStation 2 is just a better PlayStation.
The thing about the PlayStation 1 is that was of an era where every single console was kind of like proprietary.
Mm-hmm, yes.
And there was such huge
variance feeling between all of them.
Distinct feeling between all of them. The software had to be vastly different. So like everything was unique to the console.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to worry about like landing exclusives because like if someone developed a PlayStation game, you put it on the PlayStation.
It's only on the system.
You know, if someone wanted to develop something for Nintendo, it would be on the N64.
Yes,
and it would be
ports were very rare and few and far between.
And they were so different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a same game on a different console or system, it was radically different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was a definitive version somewhere,
which is usually on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Usually.
Unless
PlayStation 2
game.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2 came out, was just a better PlayStation, which I didn't even think was fathomable at that point. Yeah. But I was like, how do you make a better one of these? And they did.
You just make better storage devices.
You just make better storage devices and more complex games.
That's when everyone started switching to those, disc-based systems. You had the bigger discs for the PlayStation, the smaller ones for the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that was with the start where everything started to become software, and it was on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We started to blur the lines of
what was running off of. No.
I was going to say like there were ports, but there were differences between those ports a few times also.
Yeah, but they weren't as strong. They weren't as different. Like it's like you think about playing like the Saturn version of like. Jesus, you guys make fun of me for this, but there's a Saturn version of RoboPit, and there's like the PlayStation version, and they're different. But like honestly, there's differences though. Like,
you could have said
different feels to them.
Symphony, you could have said.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, you can play the busted Saturn version or the good PlayStation one.
You can play the version that's garbage or the good one.
Yeah.
For as ludicrous a price as the PlayStation 3 was, opposite of Chris, I really enjoyed the 7th generation. Like it was a moment where I kind of opened up my gaming library and was like dabbling into a lot of different genres and stuff like that. And like you have things like Demon's Souls, you have like the Uncharted games, you have those type of like bombastic action-packed games that were new at that time.
At a time they felt fresh.
Yeah.
And, like, and you know what? It was good.
Yeah. You see Uncharted 1 and you see Uncharted 2 and you're like, what is happening? Like, how are they doing this? And you see God of War 3 and you're like, okay, this looks significantly different from like God of War 2. Just the scale alone is just crazy. So about Dre, what's that RPG?
The ones we had in the back.
Huh?
So was the scale of the amount of God of War 3 we had in the back.
Oh my god.
Oh, I totally. Man, we made like a bench out of that shit.
The wall of God of War 3, man. Jesus Christ.
What was the like the cell colored tactical RPG that Sega made? Valkyria Chronicles. Like it was just so much interesting things on that system, in my opinion. And with the PlayStation 4, I've just been like so bored with it.
It took too long to get there.
It was, you know what?
I didn't give a shit about most of those games.
This was
until
the PlayStation 4 you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about PS3.
Oh, PS3?
Yeah, I would argue the first game I even remotely gave a flying shit about on that console generation was Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yes.
Like, that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, here we go.
I didn't have a PlayStation 3 at that moment. I actually held my friend's PlayStation 3 just to play that game because I was like, okay, I really want to play this game, but I don't know if I want to buy a system for it.
And then after that,
Infamous,
and that was in 2009. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like I got one good game a year.
Okay.
Like that 2009, and after 2009, it kind of ramps up more, right? But I think the start was so slow to that console generation.
100%.
Like I hate like those first couple of years were
it's
miserable.
Why the Xbox, if you guys don't remember, the Xbox came out a year before the PlayStation.
I know, 2006.
They got the foothold into that because Sony didn't really have anything.
And I wasn't on. You want the truth? I wasn't impressed by most of the games on 360 at the time. I thought Lost Planet was like kind of cool.
Mass Effect blew my fucking mind.
Mass Effect 1
blew my mind. I was like, holy shit.
Mass Effect, well, I didn't play it till much later though. So like I didn't get a chance to really play that. Like that then I didn't have a 360 when it first came out. I didn't get a 360 till about 2009 actually. Okay. And like I remember being very underwhelmed by that console generation, just especially at first because of that really slow start for me, you know. So it kind of like tainted that experience. Like, whereas the PS4, it's like, well, launch wise wasn't the greatest thing. There was a bunch of games that I knew were coming out within its first year that I was already going to care about.
Yeah.
So like for me, that's why I think I got it. Like, when did Arkham Knight was like a year after? Or was it like later in the year of the launch? I can't remember. So it was like the year after then. Right. So I got the year after.
For me personally, the last Generation 8, was
2015.
The most jaded I've ever been with video games. It really hit like a breaking point for me during this last generation. where everything that seemed new and cool and unique coming out for, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, I would actually think about getting a PlayStation or a 360 for. I actually bought my PlayStation 3 for because I wanted to play Marvel. That's why I got it, because I wanted to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Street Fighter precedes Marvel, correct?
It did, yeah.
Okay.
I waited for the PC version of Street Fighter.
Okay.
And I was able to be patient for that, but the PC version of Marvel 3 didn't come out until like a couple years
last year.
But I got to this PlayStation 4 and that generation, and I'm like, you guys ain't doing anything for me anymore. I've seen all this stuff already. Mm-hmm. All right, and I did it once, and that was good enough, and I don't want to see it again. I played your Uncharted game, and I don't want it. I've seen games like The Last of Us, and I don't want it. Like, what have you done for me lately? Mm-hmm. And I just like looking at this stuff, and I'm like, have I reached a point where I've read, like we said earlier, there's nothing new under the sun? Do I have to play a game about Combat Rice in order to stay interested?
Seems that way.
It does. And also, I was also like really heavy into PC gaming. So around that time, it was the first time I had made my own PC rather than have someone put it together for me. Mm-hmm. Like 2011 was my first personal PC build. It was terrible and it didn't work all the time, but it was mine.
Yeah.
So I was pretty heavily invested into that. But I'm looking at the consoles and I'm like, there's nothing you do for me right here. And I just didn't latch onto it. And every time something remotely interesting came out, by the time I could have gotten it, I was already not interested anymore.
When the dust settled.
The dust settled, and I'm like, this doesn't feel relevant anymore. And I just didn't latch onto it. And that's for me personally. Obviously, everybody loves the hell out of what's happening.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I feel like an outlier because numerous people, by the score, talk about how the PlayStation 4 is their favorite PlayStation console.
And I look at it and I'm like, what is wrong with me here? What is wrong with me? Because people are singing the praises about things that I couldn't care less about, that I never want to see touch a video game screen again. Like, you guys like this? I don't want any more of this. This is the direction you're headed in? Where's mine? And I started getting really jaded and mad. So I had to really just dive really deep to find things I would have enjoyed. And occasionally I would go try some of these things. I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of get what you're getting at here, but for the most part, like, I am just totally the outlier on this one. I hated this last generation for the fact that everything just seemed so samey, and even though the sepia age had ended and everything was colorful again.
That's another reason why I did not like 7th Gen, by the way.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
We've come to the point where we were criticizing how colorful things were.
Yeah. We're like,
do you guys...
Now
Battle Royale, a colorful Battle Royale came out that I don't even remember the name now. And
do you guys remember when that Just Cause 2 demo landed? We were working in the store, and this came out, and I started playing it, and I'm like, I come in the next day, I'm like, guys, this shit is amazing.
Yeah, no, I played it like the day you told me to try it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so vibrant and colorful, and it's fantastic, it's bombastic, and it's wild and crazy.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I could not give a shit about Just Cause now.
Yeah, because they made 2 more just like it.
Exactly, which is the exact point I'm trying to make about this previous generation.
Very iterative.
Yeah. So I feel like that articulates my point more than any of the things I just said.
I'm not going to argue with that, Joe, because it's a completely 100% valid point.
Yeah.
Like, I just also feel that, like, our tastes are different now too versus what's popular.
Yeah,
100%.
And I guess maybe because I've been at peace with the fact that, like, I know that the games I love have never been the most popular games. So, like, I'm just kind of used to being an outlier, and I don't really give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't feel that, like, what's wrong with me? No, I know who I am. I know what I like, and I don't like all of this shit, because there's so much. Like I went through first person shooter hell forever. I feel like I'm still there. Honestly, I fucking hate first person shooters as a whole. Like I'm so sick. I was so sick of that.
You want to talk about things that don't iterate.
Oh my fucking god!
There was a year last generation where 2 generations ago, 7th gen, where I vowed to not play another game where my main interaction is pulling the trigger.
Dude,
I played so much first person shooters at a point I was like, I can't do this anymore. Dude,
I was so over, and I'm speaking as somebody who does enjoy playing certain first person shooters. Like
same.
I'm going to use an example. Like, which game I was super psyched for, ironically, and everybody dumped on it so hard, and I was really upset by it. Like when Call of Duty Infinite Warfare got announced, like I looked at it, I'm like, this looks stupid. But it also looked like it was the most creative Call of Duty game.
They were definitely trying something new with it.
And it's like...
You planet hop in that game.
Dude, that game looked awesome. That's one of those games that I'm going to buy at some point and play through on the PC. Yeah, although it's really good. A console. But because I want to play through the campaign. Because I understand that game is fucking great. Yeah. And it just got shit on because, it was in space.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Titanfall 2 is the same thing, where I didn't like the multiplayer, but the campaign was really good.
Yeah, I think Infinite Warfare got shit on because the multiplayer just wasn't as sharp as the previous ones.
Yeah, understand.
Those are games that sell on the multiplayer entirely.
That's COD. I completely. If that's a big reason why the game ultimately failed, but I remember the initial trailer, people were booing the shit out of it.
It's like, guys, Jon Snow is in it. What do you guys want?
They were ready. People, I feel like, well, I'm sure eventually that was probably true that the multiplayer wasn't as good, but like people went in ready to hate that game.
Yeah. This was a generation that was like very much, that was the experience of a lot of games, where a lot of games were dead before they even came out because the fans determined that it was not going to be good.
Yeah, just murdered before it even came out. And I hate shit like that in general, personally. But like, I had that initial reaction with one game.
Everybody was jaded this generation.
And again, I'm going to point to the 7th gen. Fucking DMC.
Well, I don't know if it was everybody is jaded as much as it's
gaming is bigger.
Yes, there's a lot more people involved in the process now.
You have to admit,
more people, and then there's just the culture at a whole is just very instant gratification, and things are either the best ever or they're garbage.
But you have to admit it's a lot harder to get people interested in what you're selling these days.
I don't agree with that.
I don't think so. I think there's just like so many people that are just immensely interested in almost all of the like games that you could have seen coming out.
If that was true, nobody would be buying anything. So that's I can't get behind that statement.
Like Ghost of Tsushima sold like 1 billion things. Final Fantasy VII Remake, like these games.
But those are things that were presented as being interesting right from the get-go.
True.
I mean, listen, if you can't market your game in a way that makes it look interesting, then you probably deserve.
Well, I'm saying it's harder now than it used to be. A lot harder. Because people are, like Chris said, they're ready to shit on it.
They are, but also like there's a lot of mitigating factors with that. Like the Call of Duty fans shit on it because it wasn't Call of Duty; it was closer to Halo than Call of Duty, which is a big reason why there was that negative reaction in the first place. It had nothing to do with whether the game was good or not, obviously, or whether it even looked cool. It was just because like this is Call of Duty, but I'm seeing a guy jump around in space.
Look at Marvel Infinite. That Marvel Infinite got destroyed before it came out. The gameplay is actually pretty damn good.
Actually, that shit looked bad though.
But the game, it doesn't look great, and it was determined that there will be.
Well, you can like you looked at Marvel Infinite, and you can tell like they didn't try. That was what the issue with Marvel Infinite.
But they didn't try in the aesthetic.
You could see
the aesthetic, but you played the mechanics of that game are fantastic. So that's
how important. But you guys are fighting game guys. How important is aesthetic in a fighting game?
Very incredibly important. I'm not defending Infinite as a whole, but I'm going to defend the people who programmed and built the game because the engine fundamentally in that game is fantastic. The roster sucks, and the presentation is bad, and those are two.
We didn't really get to see a chance of how broken it was, because it got at high level, it got dumb, but
yeah. And Marvel 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah,
so that sounds fun to me.
Yeah,
as a fighting game player, guys, what's the most popular fighting game
available in
just in general?
Street Fighter
and Tekken.
Mugen?
It's Mortal Kombat, guys.
Oh yeah, no shit. Right.
Oh, you mean like the
game with the worst aesthetic every time?
Yeah.
Well, it looks all right. Though Mortal Kombat sells the most. I wouldn't call it the most recognizable fight. You ask somebody to name a fighting game, they're going to say Street Fighter.
Well, they look at Mortal Kombat too, though.
I didn't
Street Fighter Mortal Kombat.
I did not say recognizable though.
Yeah, he said what sells the most.
What's the most popular? Which is the one that's going to get the money?
Well,
here's the thing. Mortal Kombat, while the animation is never great, how Mortal Kombat is presented is incredible.
Yeah, the graphic fidelity is good, but when you play the game, you can't see fireballs half the time.
I'm aware.
Like,
they don't care about that.
No sins, but people don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
So, I don't know. There's definitely still fanning in games, and if you upset your fans, they have a platform to tell you that you have upset them,
and you will find out right away.
And
real fast. Dre, what's your feeling on this, Jen? You haven't given your personal opinion.
This was the generation of the open world game, and that's kind of the reason why a lot of things feel samey.
Right.
And thankfully, I was able to find a lot of games that, they weren't necessarily all open world games that I ended up really liking. But there were a lot of good open world games in this gen.
Pretty much
to play God of War.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say. I do not like God of War at all. And this God of War that came out, I thought was a fantastic game.
Was that open world? I didn't play it.
It is.
Yes.
It is an open world game.
But it's not like...
not obnoxiously so.
Right. It's not Mortal Kombat. It's not GTA level open world.
Yeah. But it's like open area.
It's a large world, and you are able to, move around in it, but it's not
at your leisure.
Yeah, you're not gonna go and climb up every tower and do every Ubisoft quest.
It's not Assassin's Creed where you open it and instantly have a panic attack at all the icons on the screen.
I'm with Chris on the fact that I think this is one of the best gens that I've been a part of. I'm not putting it on PS1, PS2, or Super Nintendo level.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never get there again.
But listen, I own so many PS3 games, and obviously, the circumstances of the fact that we were working at a gaming store and a lot of
the height of it
was able to get, and there was a discount, and there's just an ease, and I couldn't tell you half of my PlayStation 3 games. Couldn't tell you. But I feel like almost every one of my PlayStation 4 games, I could tell you I love them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I played so many more games this gen than I did
last gen. There are things that I don't like. I don't like Bloodborne. I didn't play Bloodborne. Not that I don't like Bloodborne. I don't like the Souls genre in general.
Mm-hmm.
After I played Demon's Souls, I think I got out of that entire genre what I wanted, which at the time when that game came out, fresh and unique, because almost all the difficulty in games had been removed, and I was still looking for challenges every now and then.
Yeah.
So when I got to play that game, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I haven't felt this challenge in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time Dark Souls came out, I got it, and I was like, well, this just kind of feels more of the same, and they removed magic, and I really like the magic system in Demon's Souls. And then Dark Souls 2 came out, and I was just like, I'm kind of done with this series at this point.
That was also the Bastard Child Lost 2,
yeah.
so...
Well,
I played 2 for 15 minutes, and I was just like, this is not going to change, is it? And
it didn't evolve enough.
At the point, I was just like, now I feel like the difficulty for the game isn't even really the selling point as much as it is, as much as it used to be.
I would love to play. I would actually like to play a Souls-like game that just doesn't have a lot of the obnoxious stuff in it.
Then is that a Souls-like game?
Well, here's the thing. I like the combat mechanics, and I like the weapon variety, and that stuff is great. But I hate the idea of going back into Dark Souls 3 and traversing through some of those areas makes me not want to play it again.
Yep. That's kind of honestly, that's kind of how I feel about when I look at Demon Souls. Like, I love that game, but you have places like Vale of the
right, which are not
where I'm like, I don't want to deal with that.
Which are not challenging; now. They're tedious.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, when it was in Demon Souls, it was challenging because it was tedious.
Yes.
Now it's
right.
It's tedious, and because it's tedious, it's challenging.
Yeah.
And that's not like the right balance. Like, they were able to make it work that one time because that wasn't happening in the PS3 generation at all. Nope. Like, a lot of these games are in like the auto win level. Like, even PC gaming was getting to the point of, yeah, we're just going to have the games essentially play themselves, and you're going to watch and you're going to like it because it's a nice cinematic experience. And
which I'm about. I like cinematic experience, but sometimes if that's all you're getting,
it's really grown tired. Really grown tired of it.
This gen got away from that. I mean, like, you're getting your cinematic experience, but you're also getting.
It was more intertwined with the gameplay. I felt in this gen, honestly. At least, like, the game still felt big, but there wasn't that disconnect that a lot of previous gen games had. You know.
Also, less first-person shooters being everywhere.
Oh, thank God! Like,
but now they're all cut from the same cloth.
Well, listen. First-person shooters have been cut from the same cloth since first-person shooters existed.
Yeah, like that's like.
But then now you have third-person action game to replace it.
Yeah, there's not.
The thing about third-person action game is you can see a character doing something. You can add style to it.
I'll say that's immediately better in every way for a presentation.
Actually, my biggest issue with Cyberpunk is that it's a first-person game.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of worried about it in that regard.
And well, I know it's not going to be played like a first-person shooter the way, like, you know, Call of Duty or Doom or whatever, but, like, I want to see the character. Like, why give me character creation options if I'm not going to see my character?
Reflections.
Well, when I get my new
ray tracing
video card, I'll worry.
There are mirrors in Deus Ex.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm not afraid of Cyberpunk 2077 being a first-person shooter, because I already have the metric I've decided to weigh this against.
Yeah, you like Deus Ex. I need this game to be my Deus Ex that you want it to be, that you have already.
Yes.
I don't have that game because I don't like Deus Ex.
I don't understand you.
I just don't like it. It's just too big and sprawling, and there's no freaking map.
I like it. I don't love it the way you do, Joe, and I never will.
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Also, I can't stand the fact that you are a crack agent and you can't freaking shoot things until you put points into shooting.
RPG, man. Come on.
I don't care.
You can shoot things.
I don't care.
What was that?
Choice.
What was that 360 game? Alpha Protocol?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Actually, pretty decent-ish.
I like that game a ton.
Yeah. The only problem Alpha Protocol had was coming so soon after Mass Effect.
Yes. And the main character was like a pile of glue.
You can make him interesting. You can role play him into a cool character.
You ever play with glue? Sometimes it's fun. 60 your fingers, you get the little coating.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Okay. Some weird children's games we're playing here now, huh? I really like Persona 5. I know Theo is polarized on that game as hell. But that was one of the better JRPGs I had played in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that was totally missing from the PS3 generation. Totally missing. I could not find a JRPG that I wanted to play.
I feel that way this generation.
That's just not true, though.
No, I got Persona, I got Final Fantasy 15. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I guess I got those. I got Final Fantasy 7 Remake. JRPGs in a whole are kind of like a dying breed, but I got more out of this system than I got out of PS3.
I say that's 2. That's 3 more than I remember.
I even got a Tales game this generation.
Okay. I play a lot of JRPGs on my PS3.
Well,
yeah, were they PS1 games?
No.
I don't know which ones you played.
The 2 Tales of Xillia 2, Final Fantasy. I mean, they're not JRPGs.
Yeah, they are, but like, I don't want.
Oh, Tales don't count. Sorry,
I don't want to play Tales games.
For all the RPGs I played on, Ni no Kuni's
sure.
bad.
Listen, I'm sure I played a lot. Ni no Kuni's terrible.
Yeah,
I'm sure I played a lot, but like I said earlier, I don't have a memory of these games anymore.
Okay.
I feel like the best JRPG that came out in that generation was on the Xbox 360.
I agree.
And
Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, and I have an Xbox. Or
you're not a Lost Odyssey fan, right?
I wanted to like the game. I got it. I wanted to like it. I thought the writing in that game was beautiful. I just didn't care about the characters, and I just fell out.
That's fair. God, I played a lot of JRPGs.
I just didn't feel that game. And like that was like one of the times where I was like really disappointed because I was like, man, like there's something about this that's not clicking with me.
It's slow as fuck.
I really
I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah,
sure. It is definitely really slow.
Slow, and I like that game, but it's slow. But yeah,
I played more JRPGs on the Wii than I did on the PS3.
Oh. I don't think I played any PlayStation 3 JRPGs. I can't think of one.
Resonance of Fate.
Resonance of Fate.
Resonance of Fate.
Did I even have Resonance of Fate? Game. Let me check my drawer. My PlayStation 3 games are. I have these stored away.
We all can't leave right now
for some reason.
What?
Hang on.
Come on, man. And he's gonna make sounds when he's away from the computer too, just to be obnoxious.
Oh yeah. Does Lightning Returns count?
Yes.
Okay, then that one.
Can you come back, please? Because Chris left.
I really like that game.
We can't all leave.
There you go.
Thank you.
What?
Yeah, I played quite a bit of RPGs on this system.
Lightning Returns was probably the best JRPG I played on the PS3. And I don't know.
I have to agree.
That game is a solid 9 gameplay, 1 story.
That's fine. As long as one of them is 9,
that's
I'm
right.
All right.
Yeah, I play games for the games. Sometimes the story makes it better. If you have a good story, great. But your game has to be good too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But there were definitely games out there, and I don't know. Like, I don't share the sentiment that it's, there wasn't of being like bored or that there wasn't anything for me on the systems. I thought that.
No, clearly I'm the outlier in that one.
I mean, you.
This is why earlier I was like, you were definitely reaching the level of jadedness.
Which, you know what, I'm really happy about, because I'm jaded about AAA games, and I find all these hidden gems everywhere.
That it has forced me to dig really deep and find some really interesting things that I would have probably never looked at before.
Yeah, this generation I've maybe played the most games I've ever played since I was a kid, especially with the Switch. I'm like, all these indie games that I'm like, okay, this is really neat and compact and doing something completely different. So,
yep.
Well, I think overall it's been pretty good. The PC definitely had its share of successes. I know Witcher is a multi-platform game, but that's really a PC game.
It feels like it. It feels like it. It's like its home base is the PC for that game.
Yeah.
Really? Like I feel like I know amongst us, but every one of my friends that played that game played that on the console.
Yeah, like I get it.
But how many of the friends that you have the
gaming PC?
The PC levels that we have?
Yeah.
One, and he still played it on the PS4.
Okay.
Which game?
Well,
Witcher 3.
I don't necessarily. I wouldn't slide him for it because, like I was saying earlier, I thought that the mouse and keyboard controls for that game were a mess.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
And I would rather play it with a controller, but also I would rather inventory manage that game on a PC.
Yep. So 8th gen. That's behind us.
I guess
kind of.
Yeah. Do you want to pick?
You'll notice that we didn't say much about Xbox games.
There's nothing to say.
That's right. We have established why.
There weren't many, but I mean, like, we would be remiss to not say that there were new Halo and Gears games this generation.
And Forza. Don't forget Forza.
I mean, Forza Horizon is really good.
It is
really, really, really good.
I'm not shitting on it. It's their most consistently good franchise.
But we went from Halo being a cross-generational masterpiece to
a train wreck.
Don't touch it.
To is even coming out now.
Yep.
Oh man, Jesus, poor Infinite. Mm-hmm. You guys got a favorite game from this last?
Yeah, game of generation. I was about to ask the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be on one of these systems.
Yes.
Well, okay. No, from
what?
No, I'm just making sure because we're specifically talking about the
PC, whatever.
Yeah, games released from 2013 to now.
Yeah,
Breath of the Wild. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Does that even count? Because that generation isn't done.
It's an in between.
Breath of the Wild is the current generation.
All right.
Nintendo started this generation.
Yeah.
If you know,
it was released on the Wii U, so there you go. You can say that.
Sure. There you go. Yeah, that game brought me back.
Generation disqualified.
Yeah, that game brought me back. I've spoken about it ad nauseum on this podcast. That game brought me back to feeling like a kid.
Yeah, same. I picked the best year to play that game possible.
Yeah. Runner-up. God, my heart want to say Nier Automata, but my mind
you're about to say that really.
My mind wants to say Dragon Quest XI. That is the best JRPG since Final Fantasy IX, and it's better than Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah, also Final Fantasy IX is kind of hard to play.
I started playing with that mod. That mod is really good. 100% steal rate.
The more your game needs to be modded to be good, the less it means that the game is actually good.
I don't agree with that.
You
could make like corrections to it, but the base could still be good.
You can make Fallout 3 a playable game. It takes a lot of mods, but you can do it.
I don't think Final Fantasy IX is bad, but
it's slow.
It is not the best Final Fantasy of its generation, and like for me to say that now, when I would have sworn it was years ago, is something.
That's okay.
All right. Well, Theo says his. Who wants to go next? Chris?
For me, fuck, I don't know. It's really hard because there's a lot of
Spider-Man.
Shut up.
I don't know why he's.
It might be Devil May Cry 5.
It might be. I was about to say. Suggest maybe it's that.
It's really close between the two of them. I guess if I had to pick, I honestly might pick DMC5 because fuck the feelings I got playing that game. Mm-hmm. Like I said, like a best friend came home to me. You know, and I honestly think the controls are incredible in that game. I think the story is one of the better ones in the series. Not that that's a fucking high bar to clear here, but like, I enjoyed the narrative personally. I liked the themes that are present in that game. I love the characters in that game. Even like Lady, who isn't really have much to do in that game, has one extremely poignant line, and like. Just like that game is chock full of shit, and I felt like that game rewarded me for sticking with the franchise and wanting it to come back. And
that is true.
So I think I got to put that as like my number one, followed extremely closely by Spider-Man, because holy shit, that game was good. Like the best superhero game ever made. You know, we'll see how Miles shakes out. It might, but like Miles might be tighter and a better experience, so it might be better. But we'll see how that goes. But like as far as like last gen goes, probably that. Killer Instinct.
Wow, really?
The only thing on the Xbox that made me care.
Killer Instinct.
Was it Killer Instinct a 360 game?
No, it is not. That is an Xbox One.
It was a launch
title.
I didn't care about that, but I remember looking at that. I was like, "Damn, that's a pretty."
I'm like I remember being
Xbox
so mad
launches
that console.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I guess. I like
after he says like, "Oh, Killer Instinct might be one of my favorite games of all time."
Well, here's the thing: in its current iteration.
Okay.
It's with 6 characters and a not fully fleshed, not a fully developed system yet, with not so great online yet. I don't know about that. My vision of Killer Instinct is in its completed form with good online,
which is still of Generation 8. So you're good there.
Yeah, and that's why I'm counting it. But this is my perspective of Killer Instinct. I did not play launch Killer Instinct, so I cannot speak to that because that was a very different game. So, but what is there is incredible, and I think definitely my favorite fighting game of this generation, without question. Wow. I told you, like, I played that game, and in 10 minutes, I sat there like this, like this. Those were the droids I was looking for. Like, yeah, that was me, because I couldn't believe it took me this long to play the game.
Wow. Well, good thing it did.
Like, yeah, thank God. And like it's. So, like, as somebody who's a fighting game fan, yeah, pretty fucking important to me. And wish it wasn't trapped on a fucking system I didn't own, or I would have played it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And much like Joe, like that was one of the choices. Like, I'm not buying an Xbox just for Killer Instinct.
Yeah,
it'll come to PC eventually, and it did.
And it did.
And yeah, I'm trying to think of like other games that like were real major standouts for me, but like those are 3 of the big ones.
My mind always goes back to Shadow of Mordor. It's a great game. It's not an incredible game, but I remember that really like scratching the itch when I originally played it. I was like, yeah, this is some next gen shit right here.
I really dug Infamous Second Son a lot. I thought that was a fantastic game for a launch, especially considering it's a launch title. I thought it was really fucking strong. But like, yeah, now definitely, if I guess it's top 3, it's DMC 5, Spider-Man, and Killer Instinct. So that's me.
Joe, are you just going to say Crosscode?
Well, the answers might surprise you, but I'm going to give my top 3. And Crosscode is in that top 3. Starting from the bottom up, Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I poured a lot of really, really, really quality time into that, and it got me through a really tough period of my life. And it had great atmosphere, great characters, witty writing, in a somewhat interesting mini card game. I thought the combat was not great, but it was at least engaging enough to keep me interested.
And so much better than the previous games.
Yeah, and
again, not a high bar to clear.
No, and the world was rewarding to explore. So that's at my number 3. Crosscode is at my number 2. If only because of my number 1 pick. I'll get to it after. But Crosscode is that game that was really scratching that nostalgia itch, and was the action RPG that I had been looking for. I love the puzzles in it. I think the characters are charming as hell. I think the story is kind of... What's the word I'm looking for? It's not serviceable's doing a disservice to it. The story is charming as well, and it's told very well, and it makes you care, and they do it in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the game going on. It's
tropey and meta in a fun way.
It is, and it really does a good job of conveying everything that's happening in it, and it makes you invested in these characters and this protagonist a lot more, and it does the silent protagonist thing very well, in a very cute, adorable way. And I just love the puzzles in that, and the combat is super fun. And I would encourage anybody to play it. And I'd had to give the nod to my number one because of sheer hours played, Divinity Original Sin 2.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah. Motherfucking bullet.
Yeah.
Damn.
Behind the court.
Yeah.
Mind you, he only got into this game this year.
I know.
I only got into it this year, but I played it for months on end. And every time I went in, I had just as much fun as the time I went into the first time.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Except the very first time when you were like, what is
this?
I knew I'd figure it out, but like that was kind of like, that was Divinity 1, really, where I had like the questions for it.
I played Divinity 1.
Yeah, I played Divinity 1 first, and then took like a month off and went into Divinity 2. And Divinity 2 was just so much better. Granted, there are parts that I wish were that I do miss from Divinity 1 that I wish were still in Divinity 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Divinity 2 did such a good job with everything it was trying to do. Mm-hmm. And it was just a lot of fun from top to bottom, with a lot of variety and a lot of different ways you could do things. And just an overall wonderful experience playing that game. I played through it like 3, maybe 4 times before I figured it. Before I got kind of tired of it. And even now, I'm thinking I want to go back. Yeah. So these are all games I want to go back to at some point. Actually, The Witcher 3, I don't think I'd go back to. I think I'm kind of done with that. But Crosscode and Divinity are definitely games that I'm looking to go back to at some point, maybe somewhere down the line. Crosscode certainly when it gets that its proper epilogue, and Divinity when I feel like I need to scratch an itch again, or if somebody wants to play multiplayer again. Mm-hmm. I'm not just looking at you. There's other people who
you said again, so I mean,
yeah, that's true. Well, I'm always open to that. I'm always open to it. Honorable mentions: Tekken 7 and Yakuza 0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dre.
All right. Well, I'll start off with Sekiro. Game that I did not expect to like at all, and was actually one of the favorite games that I played, because it broke a lot of the things that were making me not like Souls games, such as the stamina, the lose everything on death garbage, and the combat was fast and not like plotting. And the true way to play Souls games actually do have fast combat, but even when you're learning Souls games, you're generally more defensive. Yeah. And when you're learning Sekiro, if you are not offensive, then
you're dying.
You're just gonna die. And it forces you to learn how to be offensive, so that the action doesn't stop. So it's almost kind of like Doom, where the safest place to be in Doom when you're low on health is in the enemy's face.
Yep. That's another honorable mention for me too. So, that game gave me life.
Not a game I expected to enjoy the way I did, but I definitely ended up really enjoying it. Final Fantasy VII Remake. I thought that game was excellent. I thought it did a very good service to the original while also carving out its own story. Yep. Unfortunately, the contrivances of Tetsuya are in there, but hopefully going forward we can have less Kingdom Hearts wizards. No?
Absolutely not.
The gameplay is amazing. I love it.
That game feels so good to play.
It should be the natural evolution for turn-based combat.
Yeah. Oh my god, that game is so good.
All of the musical remixes and everything in that game are great. The new tracks in that game are great. I thoroughly enjoyed playing that game. I have gone from somebody who loathed Final Fantasy VII to somebody who is literally waiting for the next Final Fantasy VII title.
Next Final
acceptance.
There's so much wrong with the statement. The next Final Fantasy VII.
Listen, you.
No, I mean, like, you think about it, like, okay, it's final.
Yes.
All right, it's already a numbered sequel.
Yes.
Why is there a next one?
Yes.
It seems really weird to say, but it makes perfect sense because it
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Go Square.
I'm going to give my top title of the generation to Persona 5.
Wow.
I think that game bleeds style all over the place. The English voice acting is extremely good. The difficulty of the game is well balanced until you get to the end where you're just godlike, but that's just kind of how most RPGs are.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine. That's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the characters are great. Like, literally everything about that game is great except for the fact that the dungeons are like 5 screens too long. Almost every one of them. If they said, "Hey, this is Persona 5 Royale. When it's coming out, we're just going to shorten every dungeon," that game would have been the perfect game.
Except they made them longer.
They made them longer. And I still want to play it because I see how they integrated the new characters.
I heard the last dungeon for Royal is actually very incredible.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating when I say I listen to that soundtrack at least once a week.
It's great. I
exaggerate like 100%.
I remember very distinctly back when we were recording at the dining room table, back where right where Andre is right now. Yeah. Andre would have his PlayStation on, and he had the
life.
He had the Persona theme. He had the Persona PlayStation theme, and it would just be.
I'm still using that theme.
Yeah, but you left it on in the background, and I never got tired of the music.
Never.
Yeah.
Was that the Rain one?
That was the what's the name of that?
Was that the Rain one?
Yeah.
Yes.
What was the name of that song?
Beneath the Mask. Rain.
That's right, Beneath the Mask.
Yep.
Beneath the Mask. Rain. That's.
Yeah.
It just
yeah, and I know Andre's a big fan of disco. So I know that.
I love disco music. I love the disco beats that are just in. When you hear that disco bass riff that's just like in every disco song, I was just like, yeah.
I prefer funk to disco, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't hate funk.
Yeah.
I just love disco. Right. I think disco is great, and like that, just getting to hear it, and the music and the style of the game, and everything just comes together, and it just feels beautiful. Honorable mention Dragon Quest XI, because that game is also really great.
Honorable mentions list can go deep on this gen for me.
Can't hate on that.
FF7 Remake's another one for me too, where it's so fucking great.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 came out, and I didn't dislike it. I thought it was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
They salvaged it into something.
I really liked the. I almost feel like Final Fantasy 15 was written backwards.
Might have been.
Or they decided on how we want it to end, and then it just kind of.
Let's go from here. Let's put a story around this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like the way that game ended, and I like the way it began.
Yeah, I agree. One of the strongest openings, and I still think
incredible.
And I stand by that rendition of "Stand by Me." Still, kind of gives me chills. Honestly.
Yep.
The beginning of that game is incredible.
I think of Final Fantasy 15, and I think of those 4 characters, and I really, really liked them.
Yes.
A lot. And that is, if I take nothing else out of Final Fantasy 15, those 4 characters and the car are what made that game even remotely enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The game has 6 characters: the 4 main characters, the car, and the friendship.
That's right.
The bromance.
Yep.
Yeah.
The 4-way bromance.
To the point where, like, Gladio goes off and you miss him.
Yeah.
You
Anytime
miss
they
him.
take a character away from you, you're just like, ugh.
Maybe not Prompto so much.
I miss when Prompto's gone.
You know what? I do miss when Prompto's gone. Yeah. Just like you notice it. It's like when the loudest person in the room finally stops talking. You're like,
"Yep,
man, I got used to this."
Wow. It's quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
And the ending is still just
the ending is a fantastic ending. Absolutely fantastic ending. You want to talk about good character and emotional heartstrings being tugged.
Mm-hmm.
This was the best Final Fantasy ending since 10.
Yeah.
10's ending is.
I love the high five in 10. I think that is the coolest part of that game.
Mm-hmm. With Tidus and Auron?
Yeah, or Jecht.
Oh yeah. When yes, that
I love that high five. That is my favorite moment in Final Fantasy X.
Because it says everything in that moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.
Games are good, guys.
Yeah. I love video games.
Yeah, when stories are good. Yeah, stories are good.
Stupid video games.
Man, I fucking hate video games, and they're the best.
Seriously, they're the best. Nobody.
Don't do that. You're gonna make me cry again.
I'm the only person. I'm sorry.
Tom, I got it.
Nope.
Okay.
You're thinking that's a Final Fantasy reference.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't get it.
I'm actually referring to the Avengers.
Oh,
there's a character in the Avengers that gives you quests, and every time you accept the quest, she goes, "Seriously, you're the best."
Okay.
Nobody does it better.
Seriously, you're the best.
Makes me feel sad for the rest.
All right, we're done.
Yeah.
Nobody does it.
Mm-hmm.
Half as good as
how long
you.
will cross-gen titles still be coming out? There's still a lot of PlayStation 4s out.
It's always at least a full year of them.
Baby, you're the best.
You know how Sony is. This current generation's not done.
Yeah,
not by a long shot.
Not with Sony.
It ain't.
They might not be making any more first-party games, but there's going to be support for the PS4 going forward, at least for another year, maybe even up to 3. They usually have 10-year lifespans on their systems.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the road, but I mean, it's time to move forward. You can't stay at the stoplight forever, because people behind you will start honking.
Yeah.
The kids are here to play.
All right. Let's go. We got a big, chunky episode, and we appreciate you sticking it out with us for it. Talked a fair bit amount of the PS3 360 generation.
A little bit.
Well, you can't talk about the previous generation without talking about what
previous.
Yeah, without talking about what
precedes that one.
Precedes that, what led into it, I should say.
Yeah.
So, with that said, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Reddit, Instagram, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, etc. Email us at 4205cast.
Discord. This 4205cast@gmail.com. I cut you off for the email address, but I wanted to say Discord. Join us on our Discord.
It's popping.
You guys can't let me do the beginning and not mention the Discord. Somebody has to mention Discord at the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I will forget
every time.
I have fried parent brain.
Yeah.
Barely works.
And that's on top of your regular brain.
Yeah, that's on top of my regular brain, and the fact that I'm playing mind-numbing anime stuff on 2 platforms.
All right. Just join the Discord and then tell us which generation you thought Soulja Boy's console falls under. We need to know.
Jesus Christ.
Tell us what you want to see for our upcoming 200th episode. As week goes by, that gets closer and closer and closer. Tell us what you want to see out of that. Shout out for 200.
No, I have no idea. We're just kind of flying by night right now.
Oh, we have ideas what we want.
We have some ideas.
We want to know what you guys want out of us.
Mm-hmm. Make demands, please.
No, don't make demands, please. They're gonna torture us with that.
That'll be fun.
Are you kidding me? The amount of garbage we'll have to deal with.
We got good listeners and or viewers.
We'd have to give in to them. I'm just saying they can make them.
Let's do this bit at the beginning of the next one. Because this video is like almost 4 hours long.
Yeah, it's 900.
Three and a half.
I mean, that's almost 4 hours.
Okay, relatively, sure.
Right? So hopefully you're still here with us and you hear it.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure to bring all this stuff up in the beginning of the next episode so that, you actually will definitely hear it.
You know what we could do?
We're going to forget.
You know what we could do?
Edit? We could edit?
Yeah, no. Or we can record a bumper and put it at the start of this one.
That's your job.
Sure. Okay. Or we can all do it together now. Maybe we already did it, and our viewers already heard it, and now they're hearing us talking about it.
Bumper.
We'll have to edit this using tachyons.
What?
To send them backwards through time.
Damn, Audacity changed.
It happens.
Right, we're video now. We're in the future.
Wait, how does that
Wouldn't
work?
it be the past?
How does that work with you'll hear us on tape delay if we're in the future?
When will then be now?
Oh, shit.
All right, no, it's too late for this. Nope.
Oh, shit.
Nope, Trey, for the love of God, end it.
4205 cast off.